Magical Pokémon Urban System. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 376, Liu appears. Let's welcome the 6th contestant, Liu and Yu Longzuns. Please welcome them with applause. After Enruela finished speaking, she seemed a little shy under the gaze of everyone, and immediately ran away, trotting back to her sister. Wow, wow, wow. The applause was thunderous, but it was unclear whether it was for the 2 contestants, or because of Enruela's excitement. Come on. Saying goodbye to the 2 who cheered for him, Liu slowly walked into the battlefield. HMPH. Looking at Yu Longzuns, who was also walking slowly in front of him, Liu smiled coldly in his heart, and it was unknown what he was planning. When he met Liu's eyes, Yu Longzuns felt a sudden shock in his heart, as if he was being stared at by some kind of beast. The battle begins. With the referee's order, Liu took out the Pokeball first, and released his first Pokémon. HMPH. Looking down at the tiny human in front of him, Longyi simply disdained him, and the snort from his nose was extremely contemptuous. Damn it. Yu Longzuns saw this, and the anger in his heart burst out, but he could only hold it back, and had no way to vent it. Sure. But the battle had to continue. Yu Longzuns threw out a Pokeball without thinking. Pokémon, odd jaw attributes, rock plus dragon qualification, epic level, gold level 50 features, strong jaw effect. The powerful and huge jaw makes odd jaw get a huge power increase when using bite skills or tooth skills. Ability, talented skills, Sky Dragon Meteor plus Earth Power plus Flame Fang plus Thunder Fang learning skills, Double-Edged Head Hammer plus Rampage plus Dragon Bite plus Dragon Tail plus Earthquake. You didn't expect that Yu Longzuns' trump Pokémon would be Oddjaw. Because just a few days ago, Li Bei had used this Pokémon, and the one he fought against was Yu Longmochan. Raw. Spray Flames. Without giving the opponent any chance, Longyi directly released the spray of flames. No matter if he could hit or not, he wanted to give the opponent a warning first. Boom. Before he could react, the Jaw Dragon felt the scorching fire coming at him, and hurriedly ran to the side. A violent explosion sounded. Although it did not hit the Jaw Dragon, the aftermath of the explosion affected him, making him look dirty. Groove. Power of the Earth. With the skill, the Jaw Dragon seemed to be integrated with the earth, and could control the changes of the earth at will. Puff puff puff. Countless rock arms broke out of the ground and directly grabbed Longyi's limbs and wings flying in the sky. Groove. Double-Edged Head Hammer. Seeing that Longyi could not break free of his skills, the Jaw Dragon roared mockingly, and then rushed towards Longyi's direction. Buzz. Energy condensed in front of it, forming 2 huge head hammers. Just as it was about to get close, the Jaw Dragon leaped with all its might, and with the force of falling, it smashed towards Longyi fiercely. HMPH. Destruction Light. At this moment, Longyi, who had been struggling to break free from his restraints, suddenly showed a sneer. With a tremor of his body, Longyi actually got out of the trap directly, and the Destruction Light skill was also quickly condensed. Boom boom. The situation was reversed in an instant. The Jaw Dragon was in the air, and could not dodge at all, and could only bear the damage of the Destruction Light. Woo. Fortunately, the Double-Edged Head Hammer blocked the damage suffered by the Jaw Dragon, which offset it, otherwise it would have been seriously injured. Raw. Big Word Explosion. The figure followed closely at some point, and Longyi threw out the Big Word Explosion skill again, hitting the Jaw Dragon's chest without any surprise. Groove. Dragon Bite. Just as Longyi was getting close and preparing to make a fatal blow, the Jaw Dragon actually counterattacked before his death and bit Longyi's thigh with the final burst. Tick tick. Instantly, streams of blood flowed down the legs, finally dripping onto the ground and onto the body of the monster Jaw Dragon. Raw. The piercing pain made Longyi furious. He spread his wings and flew directly into the air, then swung them down fiercely, throwing the monster Jaw Dragon down fiercely. Boom. The huge body pressed on the ground, directly creating a big hole, and the shockwave of the collision directly splashed up smoke and dust all over the sky. Woo woo. The first battle finally ended. Although Long Yi won in the end, he was very unhappy because of the wound on his leg. Although he had expected this result long ago, when the fact really happened in front of him, Yu Longzun still couldn't accept it. But at this point, he could only accept it helplessly and silently released the next elf. Night Snail attributes, Bug plus Steel qualifications, Epic level, Gold level 49 features, Shell armor effect. The naturally hard shell can resist more attacks, and the enemy's attacks cannot hit the vital parts. Ability, Talented skills, Iron Wall plus Sharp Horn Strike plus Shadow Clone plus Destruction Death Ray learning skills, Blade Back Strike plus Self-Sacrifice Attack plus Scissor Crossfist plus Super Impact plus Preemptive Defense. This Night Snail has very good talents, but he has not received the focus of training from Yu Longzun's, so his level is only 49. However, all this has nothing to do with Li Yu. He hopes that Yu Longzun's strength will be as weak as possible, so that he can abuse him more happily. Of course, strong strength is futile. Long Yi, it's up to you. Just have fun, but don't do it too much. Although the words sound very nice, the expression on his face is not like that at all, and it is obviously not well intentioned. Yu Longzun's, with a gloomy face, can only remain silent, because he really has nothing to say now. The Night Snail may be very strong, but the suppression of the rank is insurmountable. It didn't even last for a few rounds. Under the hands of the angry Long Yi, it took less than a minute for the Night Snail to die heroically. Merila Elf, Merila attributes, Dark plus Ice qualification, Legendary level, Gold rank 49 features, Bad habit of stealing effect. Every time you attack, as long as your skill hits the opponent, you can extract a certain amount of energy from the opponent's body to restore yourself. Abilities, Talented skills, Freezing Fist plus Falling Ice Pillars plus Half Reflection plus Destruction Death Ray learning skills, Alloy Claws plus Street Knife Trial plus Shadow Ball plus Shadow Clone plus Evil Wave. The third elf, Merila, is not even as strong as the Night Snail. Long Yi defeated him with just 2 skills. This jaw-dropping speed shocked all the audience present. Their eyes widened with an unbelievable look. In the lounge, Yu Longmochen, who was watching the two people's game through the projection, had an expression as black as coal. Chapter 377. Are you convinced? Name, Charizard attributes, Fire plus Dragon qualification, Epic level, Gold tier 46, 37% features, Solar energy effect. In an environment where fire element gather, it amplifies attacks and absorbs the opponent's fire attacks. Abilities, Talented skills, Dragon Dance plus Explosive Flame Flash plus Flame Vortex plus Sunny Day learning skills, Flame Dragon Breaking Sky Slash plus Destruction Death Light plus Jet Flame plus Fire Purgatory plus Planetary Throwing. At this point, Yu Longzun felt that he obviously could not win, but even so, he could not let Li Yu look bad. Thinking of the Charizard that his cousin lent him, Yu Longzun secretly breathed a sigh of relief. At least he would not lose too badly. Raw, Sky Dragon Meteor. Feeling the power coming from the opponent, Long Yi knew that his strength was not weaker than his. Facing an opponent of the same strength, he would not be as casual as before. In a strong duel, Long Yi and Charizard can both fly and both have dragon blood. The two elves chased each other in the sky, releasing various skills in a wonderful and cool way, which amazed all the audience. In the end, after fighting for 10 minutes, Long Yi finally seized an accidental flaw and killed Charizard with one blow. When he saw Charizard fail like this, Yu Longzun's heart suddenly sank. He didn't know whether to continue the competition or just admit defeat. If he didn't admit defeat, given the relationship between the two, he would definitely be abused like a dog. And judging from the current situation, he was not far from being abused like a dog. Hey, Yu Longzun's, look at the current situation. Since you are doomed to fail, why are you still struggling? Instead of wasting everyone's time, you might as well admit defeat directly, so that I can go back to have lunch quickly. With an expression of I'm thinking about you, Li Yu didn't know how much his expression asked for a beating. But he was immersed in the abuse, so he didn't think so much. Damn you. You're so arrogant. Although he was furious, Yu Longzun could only curse in his heart, and he didn't have the courage to refute. What? Does not speaking mean you agree? I told you. It's good for everyone to admit defeat early. Now as long as you say you give in and then admit defeat, I can let you go. How about this? Isn't it a good condition? Liu naturally saw the reluctance in Yu Langzun's heart, but he didn't care about the other party's mood, just talking non-stop. Enough. Shut up. With an angry shout, Yu Langzun's actually threw out another Pokeball, obviously still wanting to struggle. Pokémon. Three-headed dragon attributes. Dark plus dragon qualification. Epic level. Diamond level 50 features. Extreme excitement effect. There are 3 consciousnesses in the brain, so sometimes because of confusion of thoughts, it will enter a state of extreme excitement, greatly improving its own attack and agility, but the hit rate of skills will decrease. Abilities, talented skills, evil wave plus double attack plus self-motivation plus double-edged head hammer learning skills, jet flame plus mount tase pressure plus dragon's beat plus dragon scale fury plus dragon god's dive. When Liu saw the attributes of the three-headed dragon, he didn't expect that Yu Langzun's actually had such an elf in his hand. Then he was curious. There was actually a level 50 elf, so why was he still hesitating and hesitant? Longyi, kill him. We'll be done, and then we can go back to eat. But even if he still had a trump card, Liu didn't have any fear, but hoped to abuse Yu Langzun's for a while longer. Raw. Long-term consumption made Longyi's physical strength and energy in his body not particularly much, while the opponent was a full state elf of the same level. But despite this, Longyi didn't have any fear, and roared directly, rushing towards the opponent. Three-headed dragon. Defeat him with all your strength. Yu Langzun's was completely furious at this moment. He didn't care about anything, and directly commanded the three-headed dragon to fight hard. Boom boom. After a series of battles, Longyi's state was no longer at his peak. So when facing the offensive of the three-headed dragon, he was always a little powerless. Longyi, can you continue? Liu was a little worried, and felt that Longyi didn't need to fight so hard. After all, this was a 6v6 battle, not a one-on-one fight. Raw. I can do it. I will definitely defeat them. Without looking back, Longyi's roar resounded through the sky, but only Liu understood the meaning. He didn't continue to talk too much. Since he wanted to fight, Liu couldn't stop him. All he could do was to firmly believe in and support him. Boom boom boom. The battle continued again. Longyi seemed to have overdrawn his potential. His strength unexpectedly grew explosively again, and was not weaker than his peak period. However, this state obviously could not last long, which could be seen from Longyi's eyes, because the fatigue in his eyes was getting heavier and heavier. Boom boom. He used the destructive death ray again. Finally, under Longyi's strong attack, the three-headed dragon was caught by surprise, and took all the damage. Sure. The figure followed closely, facing the three-headed dragon flying backwards. Longyi's mouth curled up slightly, his wings flashed violently, and the dragon slashed through the air. Sure. Just after Longyi used the last move, it was like a kite with a broken string, falling directly to the ground. The three-headed dragon on the other side was even worse, with scars all over his body clearly visible, and blood all over his body, as terrifying as a hellish devil. Longyi. Seeing Longyi's miserable condition, Liu didn't care about whether to compete or not, and his figure quickly swept towards the position where Longyi fell. Sure. Just when Longyi was about to fall to the ground, Liu finally arrived in time, and his mental power surged out, directly supporting Longyi's body, abruptly blocking his falling momentum. Bang! He exchanged a bottle of the best potion for Longyi from the system, and then slowly fed it to him. Finally, Liu took out the Pokeball and put it in it. When he finished all this, the referee came up at the right time and announced the final result of the game. As for Yu Langzun's on the other side, he had taken back the three-headed dragon and left in disgrace at some point. Liu had no interest in what happened next. After expressing his gratitude to the people present, he left the competition area directly and walked towards his restroom. Because he was really worried about Longyi's condition, he wanted to go back and take a closer look to see if he could help him recover sooner. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 378 Final Four List. After returning to his own restroom, Liu immediately entered the system world and released Long Yi from the Pokeball. Because he had exchanged a healing potion for him from the system before, Long Yi's condition had improved at this moment, and the sequelae of the forced burst of strength had also been alleviated. System, exchange me a piece of Holy Ash. Holy Ash is a legendary item on the magical continent. It is said that, as long as the elf is still alive, it can be revived with full blood by eating Holy Ash. Of course, the Holy Ash in the system is not so amazing. It can only restore all injuries, and there is no function of resurrection. Moreover, just for this, the price of a piece of Holy Ash is as high as 10 million points. Although Liu has more points, it is inevitable that he will feel a little painful when exchanging. Woo woo. After taking the Holy Ash, it worked quickly. Long Yi slowly opened his eyes and saw Liu looking at him worriedly. Raw. I'm fine. I feel very good now. The inexplicable look in his eyes flashed, and he felt the special power in his body slowly flowing, and his condition was constantly improving. Well, then you have a good rest. I won't bother you anymore. Hearing this, Liu finally let go of the worry in his heart. He let Long Yi have a good rest, and then he flashed and left the system world. Liu, how is it? Is Long Yi okay now? Because Shilin Fei also saw Long Yi's bad condition through the screen projection, so after Liu finally came out, she hurriedly walked up to ask. It's okay. Just take a rest. With a slight smile, Liu didn't want Shilin Fei to worry too much, and Long Yi's current condition was not bad. On the contrary, he had gained a kind of breakthrough. Huh. That's great. By the way, after you finish this game, let's go back. I've been away from Earth for so long, I'm a little homesick. Shilin Fei suddenly said this while leaning on Liu's arms. Compared with boys, girls are indeed more emotional. It's impossible to say that I don't miss home after leaving Earth for a few months. It's not like when I was on Earth, I could go home at any time when I went to work in other cities. Being in a completely unfamiliar world, the feeling of loneliness and discomfort is very strong. Yeah. Without saying much, Liu just hugged Shilin Fei tightly in his arms. Everything was in silence. And during the period when Liu was in the system world, the 7th game in the outside world has also slowly come to an end. Damu Yuhuang vs Kuleli. One is a genius from the Damu family, and the other is also a child of a certain family. However, the strength between the two is still Damu Yuhuang's superior skills, and he has obtained the qualification for the final promotion. Then came the 8th game, which is also the last game, Fred vs Ingrid. The only highlight of this game is that there is a female trainer. From 128 people to the current 8 people in all the competitions, the number of female trainers is really few and far between. And being able to get a very good ranking is even rarer. And now there is only Ingrid. Ingrid's strength is really extraordinary. Since the top 64, she has always shown a very strong fighting consciousness and never left any chance for her opponent. In this game, her performance is also remarkable. From beginning to end, she did not reveal any flaws. She played steadily and pushed the opponent into the abyss of failure step by step. With Ingrid's victory, the final 8 places were finally determined, namely, Yulang Mochin of the Yulang family, Ingrid of the Unova region, Mingemo disguised as Zumu, Yu Hakusho of the Ghost family, and Yu Huang of the Oak family, as well as Natsum Takashi from the Hidden World family, the mysterious young man Zhao Wang with extraordinary strength, and the last one is our protagonist Liu. Up to now, the game has reached a climax. Not only all the audience present, but especially the remaining 8 players, are looking forward to and nervous in their hearts, eager and afraid to start the final battle. Before today's game ends, we still have one most important thing to do, which is to match the list of tomorrow's semi-finals. The game ended just when all the audience were reluctant to leave. The 2 sisters Angela and Unruela suddenly walked onto the stage and announced such a thing. What? How could this happen? Didn't we match the list when the game started? Many audiences who didn't know the truth immediately asked others in confusion. Don't you know yet? The rules have been changed a long time ago, and it's more challenging this way. It allows the players to understand their opponents in advance. Isn't it more exciting when the battle begins? Upon hearing this, an enthusiastic audience immediately came over to interrupt, and even looked like he knew a lot, talking freely. Oh, so that's how it is. Those audiences who didn't know the truth immediately looked educated, nodded, and looked at the guy with gratitude. Hey, keep a low profile. Lee Yu, one of the top 8, didn't listen to the audience's guesses. He looked at the large screen in front of him nervously, as if he could see through the people behind the cards. Sure. The 8-player portrait cards kept spinning rapidly for more than half a minute. It didn't stop until many people got impatient. But the cards flipped, and the final list of the top 4 was finally released. It instantly ignited another wave of discussion among the audience. The first match, Yulong Mochan vs. Ingrid. The second match, Mingemo vs. Yu Yu Hakusho. The third match, Oki Yuhyang vs. Natsum Takashi. The fourth match, Lee Yu vs. Xiao Wang. It turned out to be him. Lee Yu was slightly surprised to see that his opponent was Xiao Wang, because Lee Yu had some deep memories of this player. As for the reason, there was not much information about Xiao Wang on the internet. You have to know that Lee Yu's system can view all the information on the internet, but he didn't find much useful information about Xiao Wang. It was as if this person had emerged from some corner, and only a small part of his personal information was displayed on the internet. He looked at Xiao Wang, and they smiled at each other tacitly, nodded slightly, and stood up. Chapter 379, The Final 4, Yulong Mochan. The semi-finals are about to start, and Lee Yu has an inexplicable sense of tension in his heart. But it's not just because of the game, but more because of Oak. After so many days of observation, Lee Yu didn't find anything. Because Oak is usually like an ordinary person, there is no abnormal behavior or action. But the more the other party is like this, the more vigilant Lee Yu is in his heart, and he is very worried that something unexpected will happen. No matter what, be careful at that time, and enter the system world directly if there is any situation. Thinking of this, he felt a little comforted, but his tense nerves could not relax. The next morning, the audience seats were full of spectators. Even those who were usually busy and didn't watch the game were watching the live broadcast in front of the TV at this moment. As for the players, they were waiting on the high platform early, ready to be better prepared when the game started. Welcome to all the audience and players. At this moment, you can witness the birth of the top 4 players of the Kanto competition at the same time. Sexy Angela walked up to the high platform, gracefully bowed slightly to everyone, and then slowly spoke. Well, I think everyone knows the list of players, so I won't introduce them here. In addition, since this is the final battle, the mechanism of the game is 6v6. And Ruler also took over the conversation, and then used his sweet voice. Every word was like pearls hitting a plate, crisp and pleasant. Okay, I won't say anything more, so as not to waste everyone's time. Now the game officially begins. Let's invite the players of the first game. Until today, the protagonists are the players, so Angela is very perceptive, and did not steal their limelight. After speaking, she took Unruler down the platform. The game begins. As Yulong Mochan and Ingrid walked into the battlefield one after another, the referee also waved his hand at the right time, and announced the start of the game. Come out, Absol. For this opponent of his, Yulong Mochan actually had a plan in his mind, because he felt that he had no doubt about winning. Elf, Absol attribute, Dark qualification, Legendary level, Gold 49th level features, Super air pressure effect. Each attack can cause the surrounding air to be extremely compressed, and violent explosions can produce shockwave attacks. Abilities, talented skills. 100,000 volts plus magic cloak plus self-sacrifice attack plus million tons horn attack learning skills. Song of Destruction plus Shadow Clone plus Illusion Slash plus Evil Wave plus Mind Hammer. It is still the Absol that appeared before. Although the level is only 49th level, it is definitely dominant among the same level. Giant Swamp Fish. Ingrid thinks that her strength is not inferior to anyone, but when facing Yulong Mochan, she still feels a little pressure. After all, the opponent is a member of the Yulong clan, and her family is much worse than the opponent. Elf, Giant Swamp Fish Attribute, Water plus Ground Qualification, Legendary Level, Gold 49th Level Features, Biogas Effect. When attacking, biogas spray is attached, which will make the opponent fall into a state of poisoning and suffocation. Ability, Talented Skills, Ice and Snow plus Iron Tail plus Concentrated Smash plus Destruction Death Ray. Learning Skills, Arm Punch plus Mud Bomb plus Landslide plus Turbidity Jet plus Freezing Ray. As a starting Pokémon, the basic attributes of the Swampert are still good, at least much stronger than ordinary Pokémon. And to be able to enter this stage, Ingrid's strength is beyond doubt. Therefore, the strength of this Swampert is by no means as simple as shown in the attributes. Absol, Song of Destruction. Once the Song of Destruction is successfully used, the opponent will definitely die. But let's not talk about the time required to release this skill. The opponent will not sit and wait for you to attack. Swampert, Mud Bomb. Knowing the power of the Song of Destruction skill, Ingrid can't let him do what he wants, and quickly ordered the Swampert to block it. Bang, bang, bang. Mud bombs carrying green poisonous liquid fell in a hail of bullets, and when they touched the ground, they instantly exploded and splashed in all directions. Puff, puff, puff. The sticky poison splashed everywhere, and it also emitted a certain foul smell. Just breathing in a little bit of the smell made Absol feel dizzy. But, however, Absol insisted on continuing, and the Song of Destruction continued to be launched, and it seemed to be getting more and more intense. HUO. The mountains collapsed, and the earth cracked. The giant swamp fish rushed forward quickly, and the ground was shaking continuously. In a moment, the flat ground became bumpy. Pop. Shadow Clone. Helplessly, Absol could only temporarily stop the Song of Destruction and turn, to avoid the giant swamp fish's attack. The Shadow Clone skill instantly split into more than a dozen clones, and fled in all directions. The real body also mixed in with them in an instant and disappeared. PO. Illusion Slash. More than a dozen Illusion Slash attacks were launched simultaneously towards the location of the giant swampfish. Each attack exuded a kind of powerful force, making it difficult to tell which one was from the real Absol. Hot. Ice and Snow. The giant swampfish's body was filled with blowlight, and then the temperature between heaven and earth began to drop sharply, as if winter had arrived early, and it was an extremely cold winter. Chichichi. Hail and snowflakes were like sharp blades coming out of their sheaths, falling on the ground in pieces, and then splashing ice debris all over the sky. Puff puff puff. Although those clones had a certain degree of defense, they could not withstand such an attack, and were shattered into nothingness. PO. Mind Hammer. But at some point, Absol actually got close to the giant swampfish, and launched a powerful attack directly on the giant swampfish. Boom boom. Caught off guard, the giant swampfish was directly hit hard, drawing an arc in the sky, and finally fell to the ground. Pursue the victory. 100,000 volts. As a demon type Pokémon, Absol has mastered electric skills. It must be said that Absol has worked really hard. Crackle. Dazzling lightning flashed, and in a moment it descended on the head of Swampert, and then thunder and lightning struck down on his head. Zzzz. 100,000 volts spread rapidly on Swampert, constantly destroying his body, and even invading his body. Wow. As a water type Pokémon, Swampert has no resistance to electric skills. So bearing all the damage of 100,000 volts will definitely double the effect. With a painful scream, Swampert's whole body trembled continuously, and there were stars flashing in his pupils. It was obvious that he could not bear it. Boom. Evil Wave. He approached again, and blasted out the evil wave with all his strength. This time, Swampert completely lost his combat effectiveness. Chapter 380, Oak vs Yu Yu Hakusho. Up to now, the strength of all the players is almost the same, and no one can crush the others. Therefore, who can win the final victory depends entirely on the cooperation in the details. Once you can seize the opportunity to hit the opponent hard and gain a significant advantage, the final victory is basically stable. Just like this time, when Yu Longmochan fought against Ingrid, the first ults released by the two were basically evenly matched in strength. However, Absol's skills are more smoothly connected. Once he catches the opponent's flaw, he doesn't give the giant fish any chance to react. With the advantage of leading by one elf, Yu Longmochan always maintained the leading advantage in the next 5 battles until the end of the game. Mainly because there are too many games written about the game. I will not go into too much detail here. Except for the game of the protagonist. Everyone else will only write 1 chapter. The second game is between Oak and Yu Yu Hakusho. Because there are only 2 games a day, this game will be held in the afternoon of the same day. Although he was not able to fight against Yu Yu Hakusho, Liu felt a little regretful. After all, it was not right that he could not avenge Toma Ui. The afternoon match was held at 2 o'clock. ZHU Mew, disguised as Ming Mo, stepped onto the battlefield, and no one could see his true face. On the other side, Yu Yu Hakusho was actually very stressed when he learned that his opponent was Ming Mo. After all, Ming Mo, that is, ZHU Mew's performance was well known. Every battle was very strong, and did not give the opponent any room for turning around. Therefore, in the eyes of Yu Yu Hakusho, his opponent was not so easy to deal with. Even if he was not careful, he might fail, and this possibility was also very large. Bangula. When the battle began, ZHU Mew did not hesitate at all, because he was confident in himself. As a champion level strongman, even if he could not expose his true strength, his combat awareness alone was not comparable to that of a low level trainer like Liu. If he could not win even in this way, then ZHU Mew would not have to live, and would just die. Elf, Bangura attributes, Rock plus Dark qualifications, Epic level, Gold level 49 features, Quicksand in the palm effect. During the battle, each time you use a skill, there is a chance to trigger the quicksand state, causing the opponent to fall into it. Ability, talented skills, Iron Tail plus Jet Flame plus Dragon Claw plus 100,000 volts learning skills, Sandstorm plus Rampage plus Earthquake plus Evil Wave plus Destruction Death Ray. It is still the same strength. After all, it has only been a few days, so it is naturally impossible to achieve any breakthrough improvement. Come out. Clay Giant. It's up to you next. You must win. Seeing the other party's indifferent expression, without any fluctuations at all, Yao Aobaishu's heart became heavier, because he knew that the other party's expression was definitely not pretended. Elf, Clay Giant attributes, Ground plus Ghost qualifications, Legendary level, Gold level 49 features, no defense effect, always in a defenseless state, will not have any immunity to the enemy's attack, but its own attack power will be improved. Ability, talented skills, Lustrous Electric Cannon plus Freezing Beam plus Heavy Bombing learned skills, Concentrated Slam plus Million Ton Punch plus Magnitude plus Explosive Fist plus Curse of the Night. The attributes of the Clay Doll Giant also did not change, that is, the level was only increased by 1 level. Before breaking through to level 50, there is really not much difference between level 48 and level 49. At the beginning of the battle, both elves belonged to the kind of meat shield tank type elves. Therefore, when fighting, there was no tactics at all. It was completely hard. You give me a punch, I give you a kick. It's all about who can hold on to the end. Explosive Fist. Lustrous Electric Cannon. With an Explosive Fist, the opponent was repelled violently, and then the Clay Doll Giant quickly condensed energy, and the Lustrous Electric Cannon suddenly blasted out. Boom boom boom. Unexpectedly, not only did Bangura not resist at all, but he directly used the Dragon Tail skill, and threw it directly at the attack of the Lustrous Electric Cannon. The explosion resounded through the sky, and the aftermath raised a cloud of smoke and dust, shaking the surrounding area and sinking downward, revealing a big pit. Raw. Destruction Ray. A flash of red light flashed in his eyes, and some kind of irritable emotion was constantly surging in his body. Roaring at the opponent in front of him, Bangula directly responded with a Destruction Ray. Boom boom. The luck of the Clay Giant was not so good. The Destruction Ray was hit completely, and the surging and violent energy directly overturned it to the ground. Raw. Rampage. The huge body was like a steamroller, and the rumbling footsteps shook the earth. Bangula's figure instantly came to the side of the Clay Giant. Bang bang bang. The continuous attacks, punches, and kicks seemed to have no rules, but every blow hit the Clay Giant. The power was very strong. Raw. Evil Wave. Pressing the Clay Giant to the ground and rubbing it made the opponent have no room for resistance. He could only be pressed to the ground and endure one set of attacks after another. The disdain in his eyes flashed, and Bangala seemed not to want to continue this boring game. He used the evil wave skill and pointed directly at the spiritual core of the clay giant. But, although the body of the clay giant is made entirely of rock, as a living being, it also possesses the same spiritual core as other elves. The evil wave force directly invaded the spiritual core of the clay giant, constantly destroying his spiritual defense. In the outside world, the clay giant stared blankly ahead, and his body stood there in a daze. Raw. Dragon tail. Just like playing baseball, Bangala's dragon tail swung violently, directly knocking the clay giant away, and it flew straight back more than 10 meters before stopping. Woo woo. With a beautiful combo, the clay giant was taken away directly, and the first battle finally ended first. This also means that in the next game, Yu Yu Hakusho's situation is not optimistic, and he cannot relax at all, otherwise it will not be so easy to turn defeat into victory. Hoo hoo. Jenga. He took a deep breath to calm himself, but then Yu Yu Hakusho actually released his trump card Elf. Jenga. Elf. Jenga attributes. Ghost qualification. Epic level. Diamond level 50 features. Floating effect. Born in ghost form, Jenga will not be attacked by ground-based skills, and the power of ghost-based skills will be increased. Abilities. Innate skills. Hypnosis plus Song of Destruction plus Destruction Light plus Shadow Ball learning skills. Same Fate plus Shadow Assault plus Shadow Fist plus Stinky Mud Bomb plus Dream Eater. Chapter 381 Liu Spirit Summary. Host, Liu Authority, Level 2 Strength, Heavenly Rank Level 6 points. 99,999,999 Shared Talent, Non-System Branch, Task System plus System World plus Exchange System System Function, Identification System, can identify the specific information of various humans, elves, and items on the Earth or the magical continent. Network System, Unlimited Communication, not restricted by location, unlimited networking, and has super control over the network. Name, Fire Breathing Dragon Attributes, Fire plus Dragon Qualifications, Epic Level, Diamond Level 50, 37% Features, Fire Blessing Effect, in an environment where fire element gather, amplify attacks and absorb the opponent's fire attacks. Ability, Talent Skills, Dragon Dance, dance the mysterious dance that the Dragon Clan does not pass on, improve your own attack and speed. Already enabled, Explosive Flame Flash, wrap the flames all over the body to attack the opponent, and you will also suffer considerable damage. There is a chance to burn the opponent. Already enabled, Flame Dragon Rush, gather the power of the whole body and attack the opponent continuously and violently. Enabled, Dragon God Dive, releases terrifying Murderous Aura and hits the opponent at the same time. Sometimes it will make the opponent timid. Enabled, Learning Skills, Flame Dragon Breaking Sky Slash plus Destruction Death Light plus Jet Flame plus Fire Purgatory plus Planet Explosion. Name, Alakazam Attribute, Psychic Qualification, Epic Level, Gold Rank 49 Level 55% Features, Nightmare Effect, in the early stage. He is naturally sleepy, but he can improve his mental strength in dreams. In the later stage, he can create a nightmare space and pull the opponent into it. Ability, Talented Skills, Wonderful Space, create a mysterious space to imprison the opponent. Enabled, Position Exchange, use incredible power to exchange the positions of both parties. Enabled, 100 Change Fist, throw a mysterious punch with the power of ice, fire, and electricity. Enabled, Learning Skills, Telekinesis plus Mental Destruction plus Miracle Eye plus Destruction Death Beam plus Nightmare Devour. Name, Gyarados Attributes, Water plus Dragon Qualifications, Epic Level, Gold Rank 49, 44% Features, King's Might Effect, naturally intimidating to the enemy, reducing the opponent's momentum, and increasing one's own attack and speed. Ability, Talented Skills, Frozen Wind, release cold air to attack the opponent, reducing the opponent's agility, and there is a chance to freeze the opponent. Enabled, Dragon Wave, spray a huge shock wave from the mouth to attack the opponent. Enabled, Dragon Scale Fury, violently attack the opponent, and then fall into a state of confusion. Enabled, Learning Skills, Destruction Death Beam plus 100,000 volts plus Blizzard plus Jet Flame plus Super Impact. Name, Metagross Attributes, Steel plus psychic qualifications. Level, Silver tier 31, 79% feature 1, star power effect. Because of the fusion of the star core in the body, it has the ability to control the power of the stars. Feature 2, light alloy effect, reduce its own weight, making its own weight reduced to half of the original. Ability, talented skills, metal devouring, an ability that Iron Dumbbell is born with, which can strengthen itself by devouring various metals. Already enabled, super heavy armor defense, because of the fusion of the planet core with amazing density, the body weight is comparable to that of a steel snake, and it can be immune to most physical damage. Already enabled, learning skills, meteor flash plus lustrous electric cannon plus destructive death light planet explosion, the ability possessed by the fusion of the planet core. Once activated, it will hurt the enemy 1000 and hurt itself 800. Super gravity field, control the increase or decrease of gravity at will, which can make the enemy unable to move, and make yourself as light as a swallow. Name, Great Sword Ghost attributes, Water plus Dragon qualification, Legendary level, Gold rank 49th level 39% features, Dragon Fury effect, in the Dragon transformation state, the Dragon's Majesty is added, thereby greatly improving its own strength. This state can be controlled and turned on by yourself. Abilities, talented skills, water swimming. As long as there is water, the strength is increased by 20%. Already turned on. Surfing, control the huge waves to sweep in all directions. The power of this skill is doubled in the water environment. Already turned on. Water column tail, with the power of water, condense a giant pillar that reaches the sky. Already turned on. Fish leaping over the dragon gate, absorb the blood of a powerful dragon elf, and possess the power of dragon transformation. Unlocked at level 50. Learning skills, Million Ton Horn attack plus destruction death ray plus blizzard plus water spirit cage plus water dragon breaking sky slash. Name, Violent Salamander, Longyi, attributes, Dragon plus flying qualifications, Legendary level, Diamond level 50, 19% features, Dragon's intimidation effect, high purity dragon blood, naturally suppresses low level dragon elves, and also intimidates elves of other attributes. Abilities, talented skills, Dragon dance, dance the mysterious dance that the dragon clan does not pass on, and increase your attack and speed. Unlocked, Mysterious Guardian, use mysterious power to deploy a shield to protect yourself. Unlocked, Dragon's Fury breaking sky slash, gather all the strength of the body and attack the opponent continuously and fiercely. Unlocked, Dragon God dive, release the terrifying Murderosaur and hit the opponent at the same time, which sometimes makes the opponent timid. Unlocked at level 60, learning skills, Sky Dragon Meteor plus Landslide plus Destruction Death Light plus Big Word Explosion plus Jet Flame. Name, Ocean Bloodline, Cerberus attributes, Darkness plus Lightning plus Fire qualification, Mythology level, Silver, 95% at level 59, Magical power, 3-in-1 effect, because it has 3 heads at the same time, it has 3 personalities and 3 thoughts. It can control 3 thoughts without confusion. Ability, Darkness control, comprehend the origin of darkness and control death. 55%. Demon Thunder control, comprehend the origin of thunder, and control thunder punishment. 55%. Hell Dark Flame, comprehend the origin of dark flame, and control the flame of hell. 55%. Self-created skills, Hell Transformation, combat state, can transform into the form of Cerberus to fight. Hell Flame, the flame from hell can burn everything. Summon Cerberus, summon a Cerberus from hell to fight for you. Similar to the physical clone skill, Corrosive Poison Rain, rainwater containing terrifying poison can corrode everything it touches. Demon Hell Thunder Flame, the Demon Hell Thunder Flame is formed by fusing the 3 powers of Hell Flame, Destructive Thunder, and Abyss Power. Magic Devouring, devour the magic power of others to replenish oneself. Magic Imprisonment, imprison the magic power of others, making them unable to use skills. Name, Xiao Bei Bloodline, Thunder Gang White Tiger attributes, Gold plus Thunder qualification, Mythical level, Gold rank 50, 91% magical power, Thunder belief effect, the belief in thunder, makes the control of lightning, reach the realm of freedom. Ability, Thunder punishment control. Comprehend the origin of thunder and control the power of thunder punishment. 50%. Gangjin control. Comprehend the origin of Gangjin and control the power of killing. 50%. Self-created skills. Thunder Gang White Tiger transformation. Can instantly transform into the Thunder Gang White Tiger form during battle. Thunder Shadow Flash Step. Thunder flashes under your feet, and you move by breaking through space with the power of thunder. Destruction Thunder Go. An upgraded version of the Golden Thunder Gun. The power of a single gun is as powerful as thunder. Thunder Gang destroys the world. An upgraded version of Dark Thunder destroys the world. 9-Day Thunder destroys the world and kills all who dare to offend. Thunder Meteor Roar. With the power of thunder, you roar to the sky. Shock everything. Chapter 382. Ghost War. Jenga is the most powerful Pokémon in Yu Yu Hakusho, and its strength should not be underestimated. At least, it is impossible for Bangira to defeat it. I guess the reason why Yu Yu Hakusho took out such a Pokémon is to narrow the gap in the game and regroup. Bangira. Use Jet Flame. Bangira, a rock type, wants to fight against Jenga, a ghost type. The ground type and rock type skills are basically useless, so the strength is equivalent to being suppressed by half. Half of the skills are directly invalid. With only the remaining few skills, the fighting style that Bangira can play is really limited. Boom boom. The long column of scorching flames blasted out instantly, but compared to Jenga, who is good at hiding and stealth, Bangira's attack has no deterrent power at all. Just a light turn, Jenga's figure disappeared on the spot, and then the attack of Jet Flame came, but it was just in vain. Swish. Like a ghost, walking silently, Jenga appeared behind Bangira without knowing when. Hypnosis. With strange light flashing in his eyes, Jenga's eyes looked at Bangira. In just a moment, Bangira's eyes became dull, as if he was wandering in the sky, without any spirit. Dream Eater. The Dream Eater skill was activated directly, and a huge mouth of nothingness appeared faintly, and then roared into Bangira's spiritual sea. The Dream Eater skill can exert its greatest power when the opponent is in an abnormal state, especially the negative state of hallucination and dizziness. By directly devouring the opponent's spiritual power, Bangira fell into a state of being unable to do what he wanted, having power but unable to use it. It's like a brand new car. Although all the parts are normal and there is no problem, the embarrassing thing is, there is no oil. Buzz. Destruction and Death Light. Both hands drew spells in front of him, and then the majestic Destruction and Death Light condensed instantly and bombarded Bangira directly. Sure. Bang. The body was blown away instantly. Even a huge body weighing thousands of pounds was directly blown away by this attack, and then fell to the ground with a bang. Woo woo. The difference in strength made Bangira completely powerless to resist, even if he had some special abilities. But in the face of powerful strength, any conspiracy and tricks are false. Name, Zoroark attribute, evil qualification, epic level, diamond level 50, 42% features, illusion effect, can be displayed through illusion mapping, change into the appearance of other elves, and master some of the skills of the elves' ability. Talented skills, evil wave plus shadow clone plus farewell gift plus return fist learning skills. Divine power plus last light back plus shadow ball plus street knife trial plus night explosion. Although with his eyesight, Oak has already known that Bangira will lose, but when the facts are in front of him, it is another matter. As a champion level strongman, he is superior, no matter where he goes. But now he is frustrated that it is so troublesome to deal with elite trainers. If he could not expose his strength, Oak would really like to kill all the players directly, win the championship, and get the final championship reward. But this is just a thought. The fierce light in his eyes flashed, and in the end he could only suppress his mood secretly and continue to fight in a proper manner. But even so, he would not let the opponent continue to waste time. It is really boring to waste time like this. If it is not too conspicuous, so as not to attract unnecessary attention and trouble. Why would Oak be so troublesome? Just take out 6 diamond level elves, and the championship of this competition will be easy to catch. Although this is not possible in reality, Oak still prepared 4 diamond level elves, that is, level 50 elves, and Zoroark is just one of them. Zoroark, Shadow Ball. The ghost system restrains its own attributes, So now it is not a matter of who can attack the opponent first and achieve more significant results. Zorok left a shadow, and a beam of black light flashed across his dark body, making it impossible to see where he was. Genji UI. Shadow Assault. Feeling the breath coming from Zorok and the agility of his opponent's actions, Yu Yu Hakusho felt that Jenga was under a lot of pressure. Swish. Both Pokémons are ghost type and are good at hiding and stealth. As they fought back and forth, neither dared to attack easily, but just watched the other vigilantly while moving. Bang. Looking at the floor revealed by the opponent, Jenga hesitated slightly, but decided to launch an attack. After all, the opportunity must not be missed, otherwise there would be no chance. Swish. Night Burst. But just as Jenga's skill was about to hit, Zorok's eyes suddenly flashed with a sneer. The figure suddenly changed, and Zorok cleverly avoided Jenga's attack, then turned quickly and counter-attacked the opponent with a violent and turbulent attack. Boom boom boom. Night Burst. Ghost and Dark skills can deal double or even higher damage to Ghost Pokémon. Darkness is invisible and intangible, but at this moment you can see the blackness before your eyes explode. It's as if space is broken and the whole world is on the verge of collapse. The might of destroying the world suddenly attacks Jenga. Oh 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 oh. A painful scream sounded, and Jenga's figure retreated again and again. The ethereal figure was also looming, as if it would be shattered at any time. Shuo. Street Knife Test. The figure moved forward again, and Zorok's claws waved out after images, and when it approached Jenga, the blade was instantly unsheathed. Shua shua shua. The fierce attack continued, and Zorok did not give the opponent a chance to counterattack. While attacking strongly, he did not forget to be vigilant against the opponent's counterattack. Kai kai kai. Although Jenga's body was invisible and ethereal, when Zorok's claws grabbed his body, his figure actually shook continuously, as if he was teasing the water with his hands. Hoo-wop. After being attacked repeatedly and fiercely, Jenga suffered a lot of damage, and his condition also entered a very low period. Genji UI. Looking at the defenseless Jenga, Yu Yu Hakusho felt an inexplicable feeling in his heart, and the face behind the mask was a little gloomy and bitter. How? Shadow Assault. Just when Zorok was preparing to kill him instantly, Jenga's momentum suddenly increased, and then his figure flashed over, and the strongest attack was instantly condensed. Boom boom. The attack hit Zorok, and the power was also doubled. Moreover, because the opponent was not prepared at all, it still hit the vital parts. Chapter 383, Shilin Fui plus Xiaopang equals Elf Summary. Name, Shilin Fui. Age 23. Realm, Heavenly Rank 9. Heritage, Ice God Bloodline, Nine-Tailed Fox Spirit. 3D Dragon Z plus Epoking plus EV plus Ice Spirit. Name, 3D Dragon Z. Attribute, General Qualification, Legendary Level, Gold Rank 49, 78% Features, Tracking Effect. The attack will automatically track the opponent, but there is a time limit. Ability, Talent Skill, Transformation. The attributes of the self will become the corresponding attributes of the learned skills. Already enabled. Illusion. Through electromagnetic waves, affect the opponent's brain to produce hallucinations. Already enabled. Pain sharing. Share the damage suffered by the self with the opponent equally. Already enabled. Blizzard. Summon a violent blizzard today to annihilate all enemies. Enabled. Learning skills. Destructive Death Ray plus Sunlight Flame plus Triangle Attack plus Magic Coat plus Electromagnetic Cannon. Name, Epoking Attributes, Water plus Psychic Qualification, Epic Level, Gold Level 49, 45% Features, Regeneration Effect, has a strong recovery ability, and can quickly recover physical strength and recover from injuries. Ability, Talented Skills, Frozen Wind, makes the field blow cold wind, and can even cause frostbite to the opponent. Enabled, Magic Coat, rebounds all abnormal state attack skills. Enabled, Jet Flame, attacks the opponent with scorching flames, and can put the opponent into a burn state. Enabled, Water Column Tail, swings the tail like a violent sea wave storm, and attacks the opponent with force. Enabled, Learning Skills, Blizzard plus Shadow Clone plus Illusion Attack plus Super Impact plus Iron Tail. Name, EV Attributes, Psychic plus Dark Qualification, Epic Level, Diamond Level 50, 49% Features, Dual personality effect. Due to special reasons, there is a dual personality in the body, and the personalities of the two personalities are completely opposite. Ability. Innate skills. Yin and yang split. Create a second body and split the personality into it. The two bodies have the same mind, thus exerting a stronger power. Enabled. Sun form. Skills. Burning sun power. Exclusive skill of VV's sun form. Jet flame. Jet flames to attack the opponent. Mysterious power. Use mysterious power to attack. The specific effect is unknown. Illusion. Launch an illusion attack, causing the opponent to fall into a state of illusion entanglement. Reversing the sun and moon. The sun form and the moon form use their exclusive skills at the same time, thus forming a terrifying combined attack skill. Reversing the sun and moon. Moon form. Skills. Dark moon power. EV's exclusive skill in the moon form. Strange light. Condenses the spiritual power into substance, emits strange light, and causes illusion attacks. Destructive death light. Destroys energy gathering, and kills everything along the way with destructive force. Shadow clone. Creates a shadow clone by controlling one's own shadow. Reversing the sun and moon. The sun form and the moon form use their exclusive skills at the same time, thus forming a terrifying combined attack skill. Reversing the sun and moon. Spirit. Ice spirit. Special Ninetale. Attribute. Ice qualification. Sub-god level. About to break through to myth level. Level. Diamond level 50. 42% features. Ice crystal body effect. The whole body is made of ice crystals, which can be completely integrated with the ice and snow environment. And is immune to energy damage caused by any ice skills, unless the power of the ice skill exceeds a certain limit. Abilities. Innate skills. Cold Flash plus Avalanche plus Frozen World plus Absolute Zero learning skills. Blizzard plus Freezing. Ray plus Ice and Snow plus Ice Crystal plus Frozen Vault. Name. Xiaopang. Age. Half a year old. After all, he was born not long ago. Realm. Unknown bloodline. Unknown ability. Unknown Pokémon. Zoroark plus Scyther plus Butterfree. Name. Zoroark. Attribute. Evil qualification. Epic level. Diamond level 50. 42% features. Illusion effect. Can be displayed through phantom mapping. Change into the appearance of other Pokémon, and master some of the skills of the Pokémon abilities. Innate skills. Wave of Evil plus Shadow Clone plus Farewell Gift plus Return Fist learning skills. Divine Power plus Backlight plus Shadow Ball plus Street Knife Trial plus Night Explosion. Name. Scyther. Void Mantis. Not fully awakened. Attributes. Bug plus Flying qualifications. Diamond level. Diamond level. Level 50. 28%. Features. Unyielding heart effect. The worse the situation is, the greater the increase in speed of the attack. Ability. Talented skills. Insect chirping. Vibrate the wings in a unique way to send out sound waves to attack the opponent. Enabled. Sky breaking slash. Attack the opponent with a fierce strong wind. Enabled. Back to the past. Use the last strength to attack the opponent. Recover a small amount of physical strength after hitting. Enabled. Learning skills. Triple foot attack plus luster electric cannon plus shadow clone plus destructive death light plus scissors cross slash. Name. Butterfree. Light goddess butterfly. Not fully awakened. Attributes. Bug plus flying qualifications. Gold level. Diamond level. Level 50. 52%. Features. Colored skin effect. Reduce your own presence, making it difficult for the opponent to lock onto the target of attack. Ability. Talented skills. Super absorption. Absorb the opponent's physical strength to restore yourself. Enabled. Sky break. Attack the opponent with strong wind. Enabled. Signal beam. Release mysterious rays to attack the opponent, with a chance of confusing the opponent. Light healing. Mobilize the weak remaining light power in the body to heal the injuries of oneself or others. Learning skills. Mysterious power plus powder of wrath plus fierce storm plus signal beam plus judgment of light. When Liu saw the 3 elves he gave to Xiaopang, and grew up to what they are now, he was envious and jealous. Unexpectedly, the ordinary elves at the beginning are now either mutated or have awakened their bloodlines. Compared with the aces he cultivated with great effort, they are not weaker at all. However, since they have been sent out, Liu will naturally not take them back. And compared with this, he is most concerned about Xiaopang's problem. Not only can the system not see his attributes, but all the elves with him have soared in strength and even have special changes. Like Scyther and Butterfree, they are the clearest proofs, but he has not found the reason yet and doesn't know why all this happened. But in the end, Liu could only give up his way of exploring the truth because he really couldn't do it. What can Liu do if even the system can't do it? But Liu thinks that the reason why the system can't find out Xiaopang may be related to the level of authority. After his level is raised, there may be new changes. Chapter 384, Landshark. Oh. Although Jenga suddenly exploded and gave Zorork a fierce blow, the opponent was still at his peak after all, so this blow did not have the effect of killing instantly. On the contrary, he himself was in a low state, and now he was exhausted and unconscious. The difference between the two was immediately judged. Jenga, the ace spirit of Yu Yu Hakusho, was still unable to resist in front of Zorork, and was finally defeated by the opponent. Spirit, Crystal Lamp Fire Spirit Attribute, Ghost plus Fire Qualification, Legendary Level, Gold Rank 50 Features, Flame Body Effect, Born in Ghost Flame Form, can make his attack Sad Corrosion and Burning status. Ability, Talented Skills, Provoke plus Sunlight Flame plus Power Equalization plus Shadow Ball Learning Skills, Strange Light plus Shadow Mist plus Sharing Pain plus Explosive Flame plus Doom. At this point in the battle, Yu Yu Hakusho has seen the situation clearly in his heart. After all, being crushed so badly, no one would remain indifferent. Of course, even so, he would not just give up. On the contrary, he could let go and do it. Because of being cautious and careful before, Yu Yu Hakusho never dared to go all out, fearing that he would be calculated by the opponent. But now it is different. Since it has come to this point, if he does not fight hard, he will have no chance of winning. Crystal Lamp Fire Spirit. Attack with all your strength. Since the victory or defeat is no longer important, Yu Yu Hakusho has no hesitation and directly commands the Crystal Lamp Fire Spirit to fight hard. Needless to say, the subsequent battles, Yu Yu Hakusho's last fight still did not produce results. After all, the strength of the oak is there. After the afternoon battle, the day's competition has also ended. Because there are only 2 games a day, Liu will start in the afternoon of the next day. Time quickly came to the next day. The night before, Liu was unusually nervous. After all, the final game was about to start. In order to complete the system task and to be able to get stronger strength, he must win the championship this time. Facing a group of powerful opponents, and even a hidden Mingemo in Oak, Liu was really nervous, and felt that there was little hope. But soon he strengthened his belief, and encouraged himself secretly. After all, if you don't even think you will win, how can you have high morale? The competition on the second day was held normally, but today's weather seemed to be unfriendly. From the morning, when it was still light, it was a drizzle. However, there was no excuse for the competition. On the contrary, this kind of environment was what they wanted. It can challenge the player's performance and deal with abnormal weather. Both sides of the competition are very powerful. One is a genius from the Damu family, who is famous for his research on the mainland. The other is also mysterious, and is said to be the son of a hidden super family. Natsume Takashi is similar to Liu's opponent Xiaopang. They are both mysterious and powerful opponents. Let's welcome the 2 players of today's game with warm applause. Amid the enthusiastic applause of the audience, Oki Huang and Natsume Takashi slowly walked into the battlefield from both sides. You are very strong. I have heard of your name for a long time, but I'm determined to win the championship this time. Natsume Takashi looked at the elegant Oki Huang and admired his temperament in his heart. He really deserved to be from a big family. You are not bad either. Although I have rarely heard of the surname Natsume, just a few words can also show your strength. Especially you. When I saw your battle, I felt that you were definitely a tough opponent. However, I also have ideas about the championship. According to the family's intelligence network, Oki Huang naturally also learned about the opponent's information, but only a very small amount. This also gave him a lot of psychological pressure to a certain extent. After all, the opponent was able to achieve the current results, and even the Oki family could not find much information about him, which shows that the opponent's origin is definitely not simple. Well, in that case, let's see our respective strengths. With a slight smile, Natsum Takashi naturally didn't think that he could defeat his opponent with just a few words. Well, go ahead. With a reply, Omu Yuhan threw out his Pokeball first, and his first Pokémon turned out to be Pokémon, Shield Blade attributes, Steel plus Ghost qualifications, Legendary level, Diamond level 50 features, Form transformation effect, a very special Pokémon. No one knows his origins, but he is born with the ability to transform back and forth between sword form and shield form. Abilities, innate skills, Sword Dance plus Iron Wall plus Slash plus Electric Shockwave learning skills, Double-Edged Head Hammer plus Holy Sword plus King's Shield Sword plus Shadow Claw plus Lustrous Electric Cannon. It was only a level 47 Shield Blade monster before, but in just a few days, it suddenly increased to the strength of Diamond level 50. I really don't know what he has experienced in the past few days. Haha, power inheritance? I just don't know how much you can learn in just 3 days. Seeing the opponent's background at a glance, Natsum Takashi thought to himself, but there was no strange color on his face. Unexpectedly, the opponent's first Pokémon was a level 50 Diamond level, but after only a moment of surprise, Natsum Takashi thought of a countermeasure. Griffin. Pokémon, Gargoyle attributes, Dragon plus Ground qualifications, Epic level, Diamond level 50 features, Dragon skin effect. Its toughness is comparable to that of hard metal, and its defense cannot be broken by force, and it can also rebound a certain amount of damage. Ability, innate skills, Sky Dragon Meteor plus Alloy Claw plus Dragon Tail plus Iron Body. Learned skills, Quicksand Hell plus Dragon's Fury plus Dragon God Dive plus Mountation plus Destruction Death Ray. What surprised Liu was that Natsum Takashi's first Pokémon was Garchomp. Based on the information obtained from the system identification, Liu knew what Natsum Takashi was good at, using the general attributes of Pokémon. And Garchomp was undoubtedly one of his trump cards, and its strength should not be underestimated. This can be clearly seen from the attributes alone. What Liu didn't expect was that it was just the first round. Not only did Okiyuhan take out his trump card, but even Natsum Takashi did the same. Shield Blade monster. Use the double-edged head hammer. In the sword form, the attack power of the Shield Blade monster was extremely terrifying, and every blow seemed to be able to tear the space and shake the surrounding air. Sure. The shield sword monster drifted quickly, and its sword-shaped body left a trail of afterimage in the air. In an instant, it came to the side of the fierce bite land shark. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 385 Dragon God Dives. Sword. Double-edged head hammer. The figure of the Shield Blade monster suddenly descended from the sky, and with the force of splitting Mount Ocean, it violently attacked the Blade Shark. Blade Shark. Iron Body. I didn't expect the opponent to be so naive. How could such an attack be effective? Natsum Takashi balanced twice, and was very unhappy with the contempt of Okiyuhan. But the whole body suddenly turned into a metallic color, and the muscles were full of power. Ding ding ding. The attack of the Shield Blade monster hit the Blade Shark, but it was like the collision of metal and iron, and only a few clanging sounds could be heard. Roar. Dragon Tail. The huge dragon tail of the Blade Shark was swung out violently, and it hit the Blade monster's sword directly. Compared with the several meter high body of the Blade Shark, the Shield Blade monster was really pitifully small. The petite body was directly knocked away, and fell into the distance without any resistance. Sword. Holy Sword. Out of thin air, a sky-high blade suddenly appeared behind the shield sword monster. The sword seemed to carry some kind of sacred power, which made people afraid. Boom boom. The sky-high blade chopped down fiercely. The power of the Holy Sword was extremely terrifying. Everything seemed as weak as an ant under this momentum. Griffin. Destroy the death light. Feeling the breath coming from the Holy Sword, Natsum Takashi actually felt a faint sense of fear in his heart. He did not dare to hesitate at all, and shouted at the Griffin. Roar. Griffin also had a look of fear in his eyes. He did not dare to take this move easily and forcefully. He controlled the energy in his body, to flow rapidly and violently, and the destroy the death light skill condensed in an instant. Boom boom boom. The two attacks collided with each other and immediately aroused a world-destroying state like Mars hitting the earth. The surging shockwave spread to the surroundings, shaking the ground to crack, and a giant pit with a radius of more than 10 meters was formed instantly. Buzz. At the center of the explosion, the shield blade monster was tilted downward, with residual energy fluctuating all over its body. The gems on its body were also somewhat dim at this moment. Roar. The fiery biter shark, who forcibly mobilized energy and used the destructive death light at an extremely fast speed, was also subjected to the violent shockwave. At this moment, his state was instantly depressed. Hook. Shadow Claw. For some reason, the shield blade monster was exhausted, but he could still burst out with such strong fighting power. The Shadow Claw shot out instantly, and then drove his body forward. Luster Electric Cannon. I saw a black shadow flash by, and then I saw the shield blade monster approach directly and instantly use the Luster Electric Cannon, completely ignoring the backlash of energy. Boom, boom, boom. The explosion had just ended, and the remaining aftermath was still spreading around the venue, but at this time the shield blade monster detonated the entire venue again, and for a moment, it became flying sand and rocks again. Roar. Being caught off guard, Garchomp had never expected that his opponent could launch such an attack. In this case, Garchomp took all the damage from this attack without any resistance, and it was an attack with the opponent's full force. Roar. Dragon Tail. The flames of anger burned in his eyes, and Garchomp could not tolerate the provocation of his opponent. With a rapid turn, the powerful Dragon Tail slammed into the body of the shield blade monster. Sword. The first round of the battle finally came to an end. Although the shield blade monster was strong, it was still not enough in front of Garchomp. After all, Garchomp was Natsum Takashi's trump card spirit, and the shield blade monster was just a powerful spirit of Okyu Huang. Natsum Takashi had seen before that the shield blade monster was just forcibly instilled with strength and could not exert the true strength of the diamond rank. On the contrary, Garchomp had already entered the diamond rank and mastered the diamond rank fighting method early. Therefore, with the strength of one and the weakness of the other, the shield blade monster naturally cannot be a match for the Libite Garchomp. In that case, it's up to you. Taking a deep breath to calm down, Damyu Huang thought for a while and chose his next Pokémon to appear. Pokémon, Electric Shock Monster Attributes, Electricity Qualification, Epic Level, Gold Level 49 Features, Electric Engine Effect. It's like having a powerful engine in the body, which greatly increases the endurance and skill attack power of the Electric Shock Monster. Ability, Innate Skills, Flame Fist plus Lightning Palm plus Flash plus Destructive Death Ray Learning Skills. Plasma Shower plus 100,000 volts plus Crazy Volts plus Thunder plus Explosive Fist. The Electric Shock Monster is also huge in size, which is just a little worse than the Libite Garchomp. But the combat power between the two is extremely equal. As one of the most popular Pokémons in the Damyu family, the Electric Shock Monster has formed a special inheritance for the cultivation of this kind of Pokémon. Moreover, relying on the research results, the strength of this electric beast of Damyu Huang is definitely not much worse than that of the Libite Garchomp, a Pokémon that is about to reach the level of a sub-beast. Libite Garchomp may be powerful, and perhaps his talent can be compared to those sub-beast Pokémon, but not to mention that he has not grown up yet. His current level alone is not enough. Therefore, the special mutant type of electric beast is almost equal in strength to the incomplete form of Libite Garchomp, and the final victory is still unknown. Although the difference in a skill may affect the final battle situation, it is not irreversible. As long as Damyu Huang can seize the opportunity and kill the opponent's Libite Garchomp, using one of his powerful skills to replace one of the opponent's ace Pokémons is not a loss, no matter how you look at it. Thinking of this, Damyu Huang didn't care so much about the defeat in the first round. On the contrary, he was secretly thinking about how to turn the situation around. Electric Beast, 100,000 volts. Almost all electric Pokémon can use the skill of 100,000 volts, but the difference is that the power of each Pokémon is different. The most famous and powerful one belongs to Satoshi's Pikachu in the anime. When it is at its strongest, it can compete with the legendary Pokémon. Of course, it is a bit funny that sometimes Satoshi's Pikachu can't even beat other people's initial Pokémon. This has to be said to be a big bug in the anime. Crackle. The sky was full of thunder and lightning, just like the lightning and thunder in a storm, but at this moment there was no rain. Boom boom boom. Lightning as thick as a bowl suddenly bombarded down, and Garchomp on the ground could only cope with it. After all, he couldn't fly into the sky and get rid of the thunder in the sky. Roar. Dragon God Dive. Thinking of flying, Garchomp's eyes flashed, and a pair of fleshy fins spread out, and he actually used one of the strongest skills of Dragon Pokémon, Dragon God Dive. Chapter 386 Explosive Fist. Dragon God Dive. When the skill was performed, it was as if the Dragon God possessed him, and the gods descended to the world, with endless pressure and huge momentum. At this moment, it seemed as if the sky and the earth changed color, and the divine momentum on the body of the Lebite shark surged and pressed the opponent. It seemed like a glance of 10,000 years, and it seemed that only a second had passed. Lebite shark seemed to move forward slowly, but everything around him seemed to stagnate. But there was no sound, and it passed in the blink of an eye. The seemingly destructive power did not cause any changes for some reason. Boom. The thunder was loud, but the raindrops were small. But then on the quiet field, the body of the electric shock beast suddenly shot out to the back like a cannonball. The audience in the distance could only see a very strange picture. That is, Lebite shark slowly walked to the side of the electric shock beast, and then looked at the other party gently and expressionlessly, and then the electric shock beast suddenly flew backwards. Everyone who saw all this was confused, and didn't know what was going on. Why do the scenes on the field feel so weird? Electric shock beast. Seeing that the opponent was taking advantage of the victory and the figure was about to force in front of him, damn you, Yu Huang hurriedly shouted loudly, trying to remind him to resist and counterattack. Yap. Plasma shower. The electric shock beast in the air was full of lightning, and the sky was full of thunder in an instant, and the crackling lightning destroyed everything around. Griffin. Keep attacking. With the dragon skin characteristics of Garchomp, Takashi Natsume felt that he could definitely block the damage of lightning. Therefore, he did not retreat, but attacked forcefully. But in fact, Garchomp's condition at this time was not particularly good. First of all, the battle lasted so long, and the consumption of physical strength and energy was very serious. Secondly, he suffered a lot of damage, and just used the huge consumption of Dragon God Dive. Due to various reasons, Garchomp's condition was already 1/10 of what it was. Roar. Mount Tay is pressing down on me. But fighting with all your strength is the most exciting part. No matter how powerful the opponent is, no matter how bad your own condition is, miracles often happen unexpectedly. Crackle. Within the 3-meter range of the electric shock monster, the surging lightning is raging. When the fierce bite shark invaded the opponent, the electric dragons as thick as arms roared and rushed towards him. Boom boom boom. After breaking through the siege of the electric net, the fierce bite shark finally came to the electric shock monster. Without any hesitation, the attack was launched quickly. Yeah. Explosive fist. Facing the strong pressure of the fierce bite shark, the electric shock monster was like facing a mountain. But he did not retreat at all. Instead, his fists flashed with lightning and attacked the opponent. Boom boom boom. The two elves went back and forth, plotting and scheming, and finally collided at this moment. The strong pressure of the fierce bite shark made the electric shock monster feel only a little pressure, but more of it was full of confidence. First of all, because of the surging plasma showers around, the opponent had to break through the barrier of thunderstorms if he wanted to get close to him. And he only needed to wait for the opponent with his attack skills ready. And the slight pressure in his heart was just because the opponent's fighting was too strong. It was not so much pressure as a respect for the strength of Lebite land shark. After all, if you are facing a very weak opponent, how can you feel any pressure in your heart? Bang. He threw a powerful punch again, hitting Lebite land shark's relatively weak chest. There was only a loud bang, and the strong fist hit the hard body of Lebite land shark. In a strong confrontation, there is always a stronger one among the strong, and the lightning palm of the electric shock monster is obviously more powerful. Roar. Finally, Lebite land shark still couldn't hold on to this move. Under the surging power, He didn't recover all of a sudden, and he fainted and lost his fighting power. So strong. But, 1 for 1, and the state of the electric beast is also consumed. It's not a big loss. Looking at the various performances of the electric beast, Natsume Takashi smiled slightly, and he didn't feel any pressure because of the loss of the elf. On the contrary, because he used one elf to replace one of the opponent's elves, Natsume Takashi actually felt that the fierce bite of the shark was still pretty good. Warrior Eagle, it's up to you. Facing such an opponent should be a challenge and breakthrough. The corners of his mouth rose slightly, but soon disappeared. No one could see the fleeting smile on his face. When thinking of his own elf, that is, the warrior eagle, that was about to appear, he actually had some faint expectations in his heart, hoping that he could make a breakthrough in this battle. Elf, warrior eagle attributes, general plus flying qualification, legendary level, gold level 49 features, all out attack effect. During the battle, it will not be affected by any negative status, and can always maintain an all out attack state. Abilities, talented skills, bodybuilding plus steel wings plus high altitude attack plus destruction of death rays learned skills, divine bird special attack plus wing attack plus clearing fog plus brute force attack plus fierce storm. After seeing the attributes of warrior eagle, you can understand why Takashi Natsume showed that expression. It turns out that warrior eagle's level has been stagnant at level 49 for a long time, but it has been unable to break through to level 50. So in this evenly matched battle, Takashi Natsume hopes that under the pressure of the opponent's strong strength, he can burst out his potential and break through directly. And this hope does not necessarily need to be realized, it is just an additional expectation. Even if it cannot be realized, Takashi Natsume has nothing to be discouraged. In addition, warrior eagle's own strength is also very strong, and it is only a little worse than the electric shock monster. So the real result of the battle, who is better or worse, who wins or loses, is still unknown. Warrior Eagle, Fierce Storm. Because the electric shock monster carries lightning, Warrior Eagle cannot easily choose close combat. Because once he is paralyzed by the opponent, it will be difficult for him to continue fighting. As a flying elf, the strongest point of Warrior Eagle is its high altitude advantage. If it enters a paralyzed state, how can it fight the opponent if it can't even fly steadily? Therefore, the wiser choice is to choose long-range skills to fight with consumption, find the right time, and kill with one blow. In this way, Warrior Eagle can better play its advantages as a flying elf, and even achieve super endurance. Chapter 387 Flash plus Lightning Palm. This battlefield specially prepared for the competition is really very strong. After dozens of battles, it can still maintain its intact shape. Earthquake, flame, thunder, storm, all kinds of attack skills, none of them can collapse this battlefield. It has to be said that these official personnel are quite conscientious and did not do those shoddy projects. At this moment, on the battlefield, the wings of the warrior eagle were waving quickly, and in front of it, a giant storm was slowly condensing. Boom boom boom. With a flash, the giant storm rushed towards the electric shock monster. All the objects that blocked him along the way were crushed into slag by the storm. Yeah. Crazy Volt. The plasma showers that lingered around the electric shock monster suddenly drilled into his body, and then after many transformations, a huge thunder shadow appeared. Puff puff puff. The thunder shadow shot out with a bang, flashing a golden light, and directly blasted the fierce storm into a vacuum zone. The remaining storm aftermath, without the traction of the storm's center, turned into breezes and rifted in the air. Flash. It turned into a flash of lightning. It was hard to imagine how a huge body like the electric shock beast could burst out at lightning speed. Sometimes, the elves in the magical continent are so magical that they can often burst out with performances beyond ordinary people's imagination, and are very exciting. Just like the difference in size. Often in our opinion, the larger the elf's body, the stronger his combat power must be, and those with petite and exquisite bodies are correspondingly weaker. But in reality, the combat power of the elves does not have much to do with their body size. If there is any relationship, it should be the impact on momentum. But in fact, momentum is useless. A true master will not release his momentum, and is often very low-key and introverted. Without further ado, let's get back to the topic. Although the body of the electric shock beast is huge, it can burst out at lightning speed under the effect of special skills. Although it is a bit inconsistent, sometimes reality is unrestrained. Different worlds cannot be thought of in the same way, as this will only affect one's own judgment. Yeah. Lightning palm. The figure moved in midair, and the electric shock beast abruptly moved from the ground to the high altitude, where the warrior eagle was flying. The huge palm flashing with lightning, the right hand retreated forward, and directly covered the chest of the warrior eagle from bottom to top. Although the warrior eagle has sharp blade-like wings to protect its body, the chest is a place where its defense is weak. The lightning palm of the electric shock beast went all out, and under the inertia of the flash skill, its power was greatly increased. Bang! Unfavorable start. The warrior eagle just appeared, and took all the damage of such a skill. The body fell directly from the high altitude, and then fell straight to the ground, splashing smoke and dust all over the sky. How? However, after all, it was in its prime, so the warrior eagle would naturally not be killed directly. A cold light flashed in its sharp eyes. With a leap, the wings flapped, and a long and sharp howl, the warrior eagle returned to the high altitude again. After suffering a loss, he would never let the opponent get close to him so easily again. Scream. Wing attack. Wing attack should be regarded as the warrior eagle's ordinary attack. While consuming relatively less energy, the power is very significant. In this way, the warrior eagle can use wing attack to consume energy, or even reduce the opponent's range of action, so as to carry out further attacks. Swish, swish, swish. The warrior eagle just waved its wings casually, and then there were transparent and empty wind blades cutting towards the body of the electric shock monster. Tap, tap, tap. As expected, there will be no second time, and there will be no more than 3 times. The electric shock monster simply couldn't find an opportunity in a short time to repeat the feat of the fatal blow just now. Facing the opponent's attack, the electric shock monster, which can't fly, can only move quickly to dodge, but can't fight back. Crack, crack. Not wanting to continue to dodge, the electric shock monster directly stood firmly in place, and then began to condense the thunder skill. A sudden thunderbolt appeared in the cloudless sky, with endless lightning flashing and spreading on it, and a terrifying aura could be heard faintly. Boom. Thunder struck down, and the warrior eagle in the sky was just below the thunderbolt, so it could not avoid it at all, and was directly struck by the lightning. How? The lightning spread all over his body in an instant, and the endless lightning was like a parasite, desperately drilling into his body. Those hard feathers also became somewhat weak, and drooped under the burning of lightning. Warrior eagle. Divine bird special attack. Seeing the warrior eagle falling to the ground, and the electric shock monster actually perched on it, right in the direction where he was falling, Natsume Takashi's eyes suddenly lit up, and then he loudly commanded the warrior eagle. How? The body attacked by lightning made the warrior eagle's body shake a little. But after hearing Natsume Takashi's voice, he slowly opened his eyes. Scream. Divine bird special attack. The aura on his body surged rapidly, and warrior eagle forcibly controlled his balance. Although he didn't know where the target of the attack was, he knew that Natsume Takashi would definitely not give random orders. Good job. Attack downwards. All this happened in a flash, without giving Oki-Yuhang a chance to react. Under the guidance of Natsume Takashi, Warrior Eagle used Divine Bird special attack directly in the direction of his feet. With the help of the inertia of falling, and the speed amplification effect of the skill, Warrior Eagle's body was like a meteor, falling from the sky. A phantom of the Divine Bird slowly took shape behind him, and then in an instant it came to the top of the head of the electric shock monster, who was ready to attack again. Boom boom boom. The sky-high explosion sounded, and the strong aftermath immediately splashed smoke and dust all over the sky, and at the center of the explosion, a large pit of more than 10 meters was formed again. After the last battle, the battlefield, which had just been repaired not long ago, instantly became dilapidated again, just like an earthquake scene. Woo woo. The electric monster was stunned by the attack, and his head was buzzing, as if there were stars flashing. Before he could regain his sanity, his body was knocked away again, and he felt like he was flying. Then he knew nothing. How? The warrior eagle howled to the sky. Although he was in a low state after winning, His eyes were extremely excited and determined. Chapter 388 Special EV. Maintaining the passionate fighting spirit, Warrior Eagle fought hard. Although he was in a low state, he did not show any weakness, and was not afraid of the opponent's strength. Elf, EV, not evolving, attributes, general qualification, epic level, gold level 50 features, unchanging body effect, the physique that will not evolve, makes EV only maintain the initial state, but at the same time his basic talents will be doubled. Ability, talent skills, digging holes plus shadow ball plus natural blessing plus synchronous interference learning skills, iron tail plus 100,000 volts plus jet flame plus blizzard plus destruction death light. Even facing the strongest alpha of Okyuhan, the extremely disadvantaged warrior eagle can be said to have no resistance. But he did not retreat at all, but burst out with strong courage. Under the opponent's strong attack, he supported for a full minute. And just when he was about to lose, something unexpected happened. I saw that his momentum suddenly increased, and in an instant he broke through to diamond level 50. Just like a shot of chicken blood, Warrior Eagle became lively again, and his combat power was also increased several times compared to the previous state. However, after all, his original state was not good, and he had just broken through, so his realm was not stable, so this combat power could only be exerted for a short time. Just like the transformation time of Ultraman, he only lasted for 3 minutes, and had no follow-up power, and was directly taken away by a set of skills of Okyuhan's Ibrahimovic. However, this is also a very good result. Warrior Eagle can persist for such a long time and break through to a new realm. This must be considered his biggest gain. Next one. I will also play the trump card. Don't underestimate the opponent. Perhaps because of the opponent, he got another general, and Natsum Takashi's mood became much better. With a slight smile, Natsum Takashi threw out an exquisite Pokeball, and then a beautiful and majestic Pokémon appeared on the battlefield. Elf, melodic attributes, water plus dragon qualification, epic level, diamond level 50 features, charming body effect. The mysterious and changing colored patterns on the body are like a dreamy whirlpool, which can attract the opponent's attention and affect the opponent's strength. Ability, talented skills, charming voice plus mysterious bodyguard plus strange light plus destructive death light learning skills, water column tail plus freezing light plus blizzard plus dragon wave plus dragon tail. This is the first time Liu has seen the real Milotic. As a traverser from Earth, he has played countless Pokémon games. According to previous game experience, among all the elves in the magical continent, except for those mythical beasts that are impossible to capture, the one he wants most is Milotic. Like his Gyarados, Milotic can be said to be one of the very rare elves. Although his predecessor, the Gyarados, can be said to be everywhere in the world. But it is extremely rare to be able to leap over the Dragon Gate and stand out from billions of similar ones. To evolve from a Gyarados to Milotic, it requires not only one's own efforts, but also a combination of talent and luck. If one of the three is missing, the Chow Chow fish cannot evolve into a Milotic. It is impossible to awaken from a weak and powerless Pokémon to a being that everyone is looking forward to and envied. And this Milotic of Takashi Natsum is obviously the best of its kind. Not only is it strong and domineering in strength, but it is also not inferior in skills. Liu was also surprised when he saw the attributes of EV before. After all, it was the first time he saw an EV that could not evolve, and that EV could actually learn almost all the skills of the attribute system. And with the blessing of the characteristics, his basic talent is not behind any Pokémon. But it is obvious that this Milotic is even more powerful. It does not need any external blessing, just its basic attributes are top notch. What's more, he also has special characteristics. With his own skills, the combat power he can exert is by no means as simple as 1 + 1 = 2. However, all this is based on the system identification, and Liu judged and measured it based on the attributes. What will be the outcome of the real battle depends on their own performance. The site returned to the battlefield. At this moment, the two powerful elves stared at each other from a distance. Although there was no real fight, just from the opponent's momentum, one could feel the power of a strong man. Hey, strange light. Milotic attacked first, because Ibrahimovic had fought before, so he was in an advantageous position by comparison. But the strange light had no shape or color, as if it had penetrated time and space, suddenly appeared beside Ibrahimovic, and then pointed directly at the opponent's chest. Sure. The seemingly petite body burst out with unimaginable strength at this moment. The footsteps gently stepped on the ground, and the figure was like a fallen leaf, floating and dodged the opponent's attack. There were no fancy moves, just gently moving his body. But the seemingly slow movement was a perfect way to avoid the attack. 100,000 volts. Some elves always have some unnecessary behaviors before attacking, which can easily expose their purpose. But Ibrahimovic is not the case. There is no expression or unnecessary actions, and you can't guess that he would actually activate a skill at this time. Evie, who had just dodged the attack and landed, suddenly saw lightning flashing around him, and then 100,000 volts blasted towards Milotic. Crackle. Lightning and thunder collided with each other, creating sparks of lightning. The thunder in the sky directly blocked all the routes for Milotic to move forward. If he retreated, he would be caught up by 100,000 volts, and then be prepared to bear all the damage. Hey. Freeze beam. It seems that using ice skills to deal with Evie's 100,000 volts is a very stupid act, but reality cannot be judged by common sense. Electric skills may have a double damage bonus for water elves, but this does not mean that water skills or ice skills are completely no match for electric skills. When water or ice is extremely pure, it will not contain any impurities, and such attack skills will not only not be used by the opponent, but also attack itself in reverse to exert the ultimate power. The reason why water conducts electricity is because there are conductive impurities in it, but when these impurities disappear and only pure water remains, the power it can exert will be enhanced. Chapter 389. Strong Mean Shao. White. Extreme white. It was almost transparent. The freezing ray used by Milotic was like using transparent crystals instead of ice. The freezing ray gave off a bone-chilling feeling. Although it hadn't hit the opponent yet, it was daunting. 100,000 volts hit the ice crystals. To a certain extent, lightning was also high temperature. High temperature and extreme cold. The high temperature of lightning burned the extreme cold of the ice crystals. Waves of mist slowly evaporated, and the mist in the sky soon obscured everyone's vision. Boom boom. The essence of the skill was actually the orderly arrangement of energy, so as to exert a stronger power. Therefore, when the energy sequence of the two skills was disrupted, the huge energy suddenly exploded like a wild horse that had broken free from its reins. Buzz buzz. The mist in the sky, under the energy shock, immediately scattered in all directions, and was assimilated into the air. Swish, swish, swish. Before he knew it, Milotic twisted its 10-meter long body, and was already 5 meters away from Evie. Irontail. The enemy had already arrived, and it was impossible to retreat, so Evie immediately made a decision. Buzz. Bang. The short tail gradually spread out a metallic color, and Evie's Irontail skill was ready. The figure jumped, and with the inertia of flipping in the air, the power became even stronger. Nana. Dragon Tail. Milotic's skill was also to use its tail to attack. And compared to Evie's Irontail, the Dragon-type Dragon Tail skill was obviously more powerful. And more importantly, Evie's tail was too short. Compared to Milotic's slender Dragon Tail, Evie's tail was really not good enough. Although combat power cannot be calculated by the length of the tail, no matter how you look at it, Evie's use of the Iron Tail skill always feels a bit out of place. Bang bang. Same recipe, different taste. The same type of skills collided at this moment. Milotic's Dragon Tail and Evie's Iron Tail collided with each other, and immediately sparks of electricity were rubbed out. However, Milotic's attack power was stronger in comparison. After all, Evie was not inherently superior, so this result was expected. Bang. After fighting each other, Evie still couldn't beat the opponent, and was thrown out by the Dragon's Tail. Nana. Dragon Wave. The body quickly circled up. Milotic's speed was as fast as lightning, and only a shadow flashed by, and he caught up with Evie's figure. Buzz boom boom. The invisible wave carrying the power of the dragon quickly spread to Evie's body, and the endless invasion destroyed the opponent's body. Boom. Eevee was knocked away again and was hit by the attack one after another, which made his momentum depressed. Nana. Charming sound. Waves of music like the sound of nature, as if it sounded from a mysterious place, but it could penetrate people's hearts and affect people's minds. Da-la-la-da-da-da-da. Charming voice. It's like the whisper of a succubus, whispering in your ear. Even Eevee's eyes were dulled for a moment under the influence of charming voice, and he lost his vitality. Nana. Destruction beam. Seizing this fleeting opportunity, the destruction beam slowly condensed. There is a big difference between the instantaneous destruction beam and the complete form. After Melotix's full preparation, this destruction beam was like a ray of destruction, carrying the power of extinction and blasting towards Eevee. Boom boom boom. There is no doubt that Eevee could not get rid of the negative state of charming voice before the attack came. Therefore, he was directly hit by the destruction beam, and the damage he suffered was instantly off the charts. Eee. It's not that we didn't work hard, it's just that the enemy is too strong. Eevee's strength may be strong, but no Pokémon can withstand the situation of being able to only bear the damage, but not fight back. Being attacked by the opponent one after another, the battle situation was losing step by step, so Ibrahimovic could only passively bear the damage, but could not fight back. Now he directly took all the damage from the destruction light, so he lost his fighting power directly. Sometimes it is useless to be strong, because no matter how strong you are, if you can't play the due fighting power, what's the use? Ibrahimovic. Looking at the situation in front of him in shock, Damu Yuhan was actually a little surprised. I didn't expect that his strongest elf would be defeated directly like this. In this case, is it possible for him to turn the situation around? All the powerful elves were defeated, and only a few ordinary elves were left. Is there still a so-called winning rate? Phew. No need to continue. I have already lost. The fact is the fact. The strength of both sides is no longer equal now. Continuing will only add troubles. Instead of wasting everyone's time and not getting any results in the end, why bother? You are very strong. However, I hope you can see your own weaknesses. Although it may sound a little abrupt, I really want you to become stronger. After all, it is not easy to find a strong opponent. Natsume Takashi smiled slightly and did not show an extremely excited expression because of his upgrade. On the contrary, he felt sorry for the opponent's strength. To be honest, the so-called champion really has no effect on him. The reason why he came to participate in this Kanto competition was just to find an opponent who was equally strong. In short, he just wanted to fight. Fight with an opponent who was equally strong. Only in this way can he arouse his enthusiasm and let him find that kind of passionate feeling. Well, thank you for your reminder. Maybe I didn't think too much. But next time we meet, I will definitely be stronger, and I will never lose to you again. Although it was a bit frustrating that he could not enter the next game and even lost the opportunity to win the championship, but from another perspective, this was not a bad thing. Well, they smiled at each other, and the two of them could be said to have known each other without fighting. Now they have a basic friendship. Maybe they can become good friends in the future. Sometimes families form an alliance because of a certain person, thus becoming a more powerful force in one fell swoop. Congratulations to contestant Takashi Natsume for winning. This morning's game was so exciting. It was a visual enjoyment. Although there was only one game in the morning, the basic process could not be missed. As professional hosts, the two sisters have solid basic skills. After some commercial hype, the morning game came to an end. Although the audience was still reluctant to leave, they slowly left the competition area, waiting for the afternoon game to start early. Chapter 390 Liu appears. After 2 consecutive days of waiting, it was finally time for him to compete. This afternoon, Liu arrived at the competition venue early, waiting for the competition to start at any time. Hi. Liu's opponent Zioang also came behind him without knowing when. Hello. I didn't expect you to come so early. I thought I was the only one who was looking forward to it. He was a little surprised at first, but soon Liu reacted, smiled slightly, and slowly spoke to the other party. Well, it is indeed a rare experience to be able to fight with a master like you. Don't show mercy when the time comes. Zioang's face is a bit like an ancient Chinese swordsman. His strong figure is set off by his strong clothes, and his sword-like eyebrows and star-like eyes add a sense of elegance. In addition, he has developed the aristocratic temperament from a big family since he was a child. His every move is like a gentleman. Don't worry, I will definitely beat you. Ha ha ha. It was just a joke, and there was no other meaning. Zhao naturally understood this, so the two just smiled at each other. Let's welcome the two players of the last match with applause. This battle is of great significance because it determines who will get the last spot in the semi-finals. When talking about the last battle, Angela was very good at mobilizing the audience's mood and immediately led the atmosphere on the field to a climax. Wow. Under the fierce applause of the audience, Li Yu and Zhao walked into the venue from both sides. Looking at each other from a distance, both of them saw the raging fighting spirit in each other's eyes. Come out. Steelix. I didn't expect that Zhao first elf would be a huge Steelix, which is obviously different from his temperament. Elf, Steelix attributes, Steel plus ground qualification, legendary level, gold level 49 features, full attack effect. When launching a skill, you can exert the full power of the skill without any weakening. However, the negative effects attached to the skill will be completely eliminated. Ability, talented skills, defense scroll plus rock blast plus self-suggestion plus destruction death ray learning skills, landslide plus iron tail plus earthquake plus dragon breath plus super impact. However, after seeing the attributes of Steelix, Li Yu was not particularly stressed. Because as long as it does not exceed level 50, Steelix is not particularly difficult to deal with. In that case, then I choose you. Gyarados, come on stage. Since it is to deal with a giant Pokémon like Steelix, then Gyarados is obviously the best choice, and the types of the two Pokémon are roughly the same. Name, Gyarados attributes, water plus dragon qualifications, epic level, gold tier 49 level 44% features. King's Might effect, naturally deterrent to the enemy, reduce the opponent's momentum, and increase its own attack and speed. Ability, talented skills, Frozen Wind, release cold air to attack the opponent, reduce the opponent's agility, and have a chance to freeze the opponent. Already enabled, Dragon Wave, spray a huge shock wave from the mouth to attack the opponent. Enabled, Dragon Scale Fury, violently attack the opponent, and then fall into a state of confusion. Enabled, Learning Skills, Destruction Death Beam plus 100,000 volts plus Blizzard plus Jet Flame plus Super Impact. Unfortunately, Gyarados has not yet broken through to level 50, and is still hovering at level 49. Compared with other companions, Gyarados' strength progress is a bit slow. Even with the blessing of the training space, it is not as good as Charizard and Metagross. However, Li Yu believes that as long as Gyarados really reaches level 50, its strength must be no weaker than any other Pokémon of Li Yu. Gyarados. Let's go first. Dragon Wave. After calming down his excitement, Li Yu was very much looking forward to the battle in front of him. As a trainer, or even a person from Earth who traveled through time, the most attractive thing in Pokémon is the Pokémon battle. Steeljack. We are coming too, but we can't show weakness. Use Dragon Breath. Zhao naturally couldn't show weakness, and also ordered Steeljack to fight back. Because Gyarados has the water attribute, many of Steelix's skills don't need to be used. Apart from those skills that can't be used, the only one he can use is Dragon Breath. Boom boom. The first confrontation between the two Pokémons was not particularly fierce. The first round of competition was just the first test, raw, Dragon Scale Fury. But then, after Gyarados preliminarily estimated the opponent's strength, the way of fighting changed drastically, and it was completely violent. Swish swish swish. Like a swimming dragon, Gyarados quickly ran across the battlefield, and approached Steelix in a blink of an eye. Bang bang bang. Steelix didn't resist at all, and just stood there. When Gyarados approached, it directly used its huge body to forcefully collide with it. Such a battle is actually very boring. It is a melee battle without any skills. But if you look at it in the eyes of those battle maniacs, it feels like a world-class blockbuster. Of course, no matter what others think, at least Li Yu is very much looking forward to it, watching Gyarados' performance with a little nervousness. Although he thinks that Gyarados' strength is absolutely very strong, far beyond the reach of ordinary Pokémon, but facing the equally powerful Steelix, he is still a little worried. Raw. Destruction of Death Beam. Speaking of powerful attacks, the power of Destruction of Death Beam is still the most powerful. It is definitely one of the most powerful skills among the skills of ordinary Pokémon. Speaking of the power of this skill, even if it is used by ordinary Pokémon, it can reach the point of splitting mountains and cracking rocks. And this skill is even more powerful in the hands of Pokémon like Gyarados and Steelix. Gyarados' Destruction of Death Beam does not require any careful control at all. Because Steelix never thought about dodging, it directly took all the attacks. Raw. Super Impact. Although it took all the damage of the Destruction of Death Beam, Steelix's rock body was also a little broken, as if it was about to break. But all this did not affect his momentum at all. With a roar to the sky, Steelix rushed towards Gyarados angrily. Boom. It was like a super steamroller rolling over, shaking the ground. The two people standing on the battlefield were also a little shaky and unable to stand. Even the audience felt the chairs under their buttocks shaking constantly, as if they were about to fall down. Chapter 391 Alloy Explosion. Elf. Boscadora Attributes. Steel plus Rock Qualification. Epic Level. Diamond Level 50 Features. Heavy Alloy Body Effect. The special body structure makes Boscadora's weight doubled, but the corresponding defense will be greatly increased. Ability. Talented Skills. Jet Flame plus 100,000 volts plus Destruction Death Ray Learning Skills. Weight Loss plus Steel Tail plus Self-Sacrifice Attack plus Alloy Explosion plus Sandstorm. The melee battle was finally over. The exhausted Gyarados defeated Steelix with great difficulty. And this kind of victory is by no means so easy to get. Although it has the advantage of attribute restraint, Gyarados is also very uncomfortable to fight. It's like a certain mobile game nowadays, which is completely a paradise for tanks. Therefore, King of Glory is also unanimously nicknamed Tank Glory by all players. The reason for this is that, as long as you choose a tank hero when playing the game, the final victory is basically a sure thing. In the current game, you can choose a tank when you are in the wild, when you are on the side, and when you are supporting. In short, a tank can do anything. And today's Steelix is like a tank in the game. Not only is its attack power very strong, but its defense power is also very abnormal. If it weren't for Liu's Gyarados' strength, and the same restraint advantage and attributes, it would not be so easy to win. But the process is not important. Even if it is difficult, it is already in the past tense. The final result is good, and I'm satisfied. Gyarados, can you continue to fight? Liu naturally knew his hard work. Seeing that the opponent actually released a tank type Pokémon again, although he felt a little helpless, he couldn't stop it. Roar. I will definitely win. Without even thinking about retreating, Gyarados roared at Liu, showing his firm determination. But having confidence is one thing, and what the result of the real battle will be is another. Boscadora. Weight loss. After using this skill, Boscadora can just offset the disadvantages of the characteristics and restore its normal speed. It can be said that the characteristics and skills of this Boscadora are completely compatible. Although it has lost the characteristic advantages of those amplified attacks, it has a more abnormal defense. It is good at defense. It can even be said that Boscadora's defense is not inferior to those of ordinary beasts. Now with the blessing of the heavy alloy body, the strength of its defense is absolutely beyond the limit that ordinary people can imagine. Alloy Burst. After losing weight, Boscadora's speed is not inferior to that of ordinary elves. The figure moved quickly, shaking the surrounding ground with a rumble. When approaching Gyarados, Boscadora's body, like an alloy armor, suddenly flashed with silver white light. Boom boom boom. Countless alloy bullets suddenly appeared around the body, and then suddenly bombarded Gyarados, and finally exploded like ordinary shells. Roar, roar. The attack completely hit Gyarados. He had no chance to dodge, and could only take the attack. Compared to Steelix, Boscadora was even more powerful, and this power was superior in all aspects. With a huge body that was more than 10 meters tall, and a very domineering figure, it was definitely a fighter among fighters. As he moved his hands and feet, the alloy armor that shone with metallic luster flashed coldly, giving people a sharp edge. Bang! Using his body as a weapon, Boscadora used the spikes on his body to hit Gyarados hard. Chichichi. The sharp spikes pierced Gyarados' body, and blood was dripping directly. 1 inch longer. 1 inch stronger. Boscadora had sharp spikes as a weapon, while Gyarados, who relied entirely on his physical body for defense, was at a disadvantage in comparison. In addition, the previous continuous battles made him a little weak, and he could not guarantee his peak strength. For various reasons, Gyarados was really unable to cope with Boscadora's full strength attack. In the first round alone, he was a little powerless, and was directly beaten with blood, raw, destruction ray. But before he fell, he still used his last move, obviously showing that, if I don't have a good life, you can't have a good life either. Boom boom boom. When Boscadora was close, he couldn't dodge, and could only bear the attack of the destruction ray. His body was directly blown away by the destruction ray, and the aftermath of the explosion also spread to the surroundings. Because the center of the explosion was next to Gyarados, this attack even affected him. Raw. The huge body was directly blown away, and Gyarados also rolled several times, and finally screamed, and fell to the ground, obviously unconscious. You're already great. Gyarados, come back and rest. Liu looked at the fallen Gyarados with satisfaction, and was very happy that he could have such performance. With his current strength, it was not bad to be able to achieve such a battle result. Next one. It's decided to be you. Metagross. After a little thought, Liu chose the next Pokémon to appear. And Liu was full of confidence in Metagross. Name. Metagross attributes. Steel plus Psychic qualifications. Level. Gold 49th level 99% characteristic 1. Star power effect. Because of the fusion of star cores in the body, it has the ability to control the power of stars. Characteristic 2. Light alloy effect. Reduce its own weight, making its own weight reduce to half of the original. Ability. Talented skills. Metal devouring. An ability born by Iron Dumbbell, which can strengthen itself by swallowing various metals. Already enabled. Super heavy armor defense. Because of the fusion of the planetary core with amazing density, the body weight is comparable to that of Steelix, and it can be immune to most physical damage. Already enabled. Learning skills. Meteor Flash plus Lustrous Electric Cannon plus Destructive Death Light Planet Explosion. An ability gained from the fusion of the planet's core. Once activated, it will injure the enemy by 1000, while injuring yourself by 800. Super Gravity Field. Control the increase or decrease of gravity as you wish, which can make it difficult for the enemy to move, and make you as light as a swallow. Metagross can be said to be the most special of all the elves of Liu, because his talent level is actually unknown, and the abilities he possesses are also extremely special. Not only has he learned a lot of new skills, which is an advantage that other elves of the same type do not have, and with the blessing of dual characteristics, Metagross's strength is even stronger. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 392 Super Gravity Field. Among all the spirits called sub-beasts, Metagross has the strongest defense. Even Boscadora can't compare to it. Although Boscadora is also very strong, there is no shadow of him in all the sub-beasts. This is a reality. Even if Boscadora is very strong, if he is not included in the list of sub-beasts, he still lacks a little weight. This can be seen from the battle alone. Although Metagross is slightly inferior to Boscadora in size, it is not weak in momentum. At the beginning of the battle, Metagross first used the Super Gravity Field to instantly reduce its own weight to the extreme, thereby increasing its own speed. Meteor Flash. With the blessing of speed, Metagross used the Meteor Flash skill again, making its forward momentum more fierce. Boom boom boom. Meteor Flash is very similar to Draco Meteor, except that Metagross turns itself into a meteor, accumulates inertia through rapid movement, and finally launches a violent attack on the enemy. And because of the characteristics of metal swallowing, when Metagross uses skills or launches attacks, there will be a certain swallowing effect. This effect happened to completely restrain Boscadora, because a large part of Boscadora's armor is made of alloy. In this way, Boscadora's unbreakable defense seems so vulnerable in front of Metagross. It can be said that it is completely a natural enemy. So, it is bad luck for him to meet Metagross, which also doomed him to failure in the end. Although it took Metagross a lot of effort to defeat Boscadora, compared with his strong endurance, this is nothing. Elf, Fossil Pterosaur attributes, Rock plus Flying qualifications, Epic level, Diamond level 50 features, Rock skin effect. The skin as hard as rock makes the Fossil Pterosaur's defense extremely unbreakable, and even has a partial bonus to the attack power. Ability, talented skills, breaking the air plus dragon claw plus sharp stone attack plus jet flame learning skills, iron head skill plus free fall plus destruction death light plus landslide plus super shock wave. After Scadora was defeated, Zioang chose the new elf of Fossil Pterosaur, and this time he was finally no longer a meat shield elf. And it was a Fossil Pterosaur, a very rare elf. During Liyu's adventure, Fossil Pterosaur only encountered it 3 or 5 times in total. So for such an elf, Liyu felt a little envious, jealous, and hateful, and also a little helpless. If he hadn't planned to take risks long ago, he really wanted to take some time to go to those rock cave ruins to see if he could recover a Fossil Pterosaur. The battle between the giant gold monster and the Fossil Pterosaur was also very exciting. One is very good at defense, and the other is very good at attack. Although the attack power of the Fossil Pterosaur is very strong, it has little effect in the face of the strong defense of the Metagross. Although the Metagross has a strong defense and a strong attack, its only disadvantage is that its flexibility is too poor, and its skills often have difficulty hitting the Fossil Pterosaur. The two elves can be said to be evenly matched, each with its own advantages, but also its own disadvantages. In short, it depends on who can hold on to the end and consume the opponent to lose combat effectiveness first. And the final result is naturally needless to say, it must be the Metagross that wins the final victory. First of all, because of his defense problem, many of the skills of the Fossil Pterosaur are completely ineffective. In short, the strength of the Metagross is a little stronger, so after fighting for dozens of rounds, it finally won the final victory with difficulty. Elf, Flame Chicken attributes, Fire plus Fighting qualification, Legendary level, Diamond level 50 features, Acceleration effect. As the battle progresses, the flames in the body of the Flame Chicken burn violently, which will make his own speed faster and faster. Ability, talented skills, bodybuilding plus fire attack plus sunlight blaze plus big word explosion learning skills, fire fist plus flying knee strike plus explosive flame flash plus divine bird special attack plus sky fist. This Pokémon, Flame Chicken, should be Zioang's initial Pokémon. Except for the previous Boscadora, which was level 50, only this Flame Chicken's strength is worth looking at. However, the experience of that Boscadora was too miserable. It met Liyu's Gyarados at the beginning. Although Boscadora's level crushed Gyarados, due to the suppression of attributes, its strength could not be fully exerted. And then it met Metagross. Although it also had an advantage in level, it was restrained by the opponent's characteristics. It was a typical representative of a tragedy. A diamond level Pokémon ended up like this, and did not exert its due strength at all. Compared with Boscadora, Zioang's second Pokémon, Flame Chicken. Although the size is much worse, its combat effectiveness is not weak at all, and it even surpasses the opponent faintly. Now facing the Metagross, I wonder if he can bring out his strength. Blazing Chicken. Jet Flame. The signature skill of fire-type Pokémon. Basically all fire-type Pokémon can use it. And in the hands of Blaziken, this skill is as powerful as the destructive power of a missile. Boom boom boom. But what shocked everyone was that facing the fierce attack of Blaziken, Metagross did not make any defensive moves, but rushed straight towards the jet of flames. Puff puff puff. But the more shocking thing is still to come. When the jet of flame was about to hit Metagross, it was blocked by some invisible substance. Super gravity field. It turned out that when the opponent's attack hit in advance, Metagross actually controlled the gravity field to form an invisible defense shield around its body. It was such a simple action, but it easily solved the opponent's attack. And in the process of rushing forward, it also shortened the distance with the opponent to a certain extent. Destruction Death Ray. The Destruction Death Ray condensed in an instant. Because this opportunity could not be missed, Metagross only used 50% of its power. This reduced the power of destruction time by half, but the speed of condensation reached a level that was almost instantaneous. Boom boom boom. As expected, just as Metagross had planned, Flamel didn't expect that the opponent could dodge his attack and even counterattack. The destruction death ray directly bombarded him. Although the damage was indeed not enough, the aftermath of the explosion directly blew him away. Chapter 393, Cast on the Planet. However, although the performance of the Metagross was very showy, the gap in level was a fatal flaw. The gap of 1 level, even if the strength of the Metagross was very strong, it still felt powerless. Just like the previous round, although the performance of the Metagross was very showy, the power of destroying time in the end was still a little insufficient. Just like a paper tiger, it looks very tiger-like, but in fact it has no effect. Others hit you and it hurts terribly, but you hit others, and it doesn't hurt. Now the Metagross is facing this situation, which can be said to be a very helpless reality. So in the end, the Metagross still lost. But even if the Metagross lost, Liu did not mean to blame him. Instead, he was very pleased with his performance. With his current strength, it was very reluctant to achieve such a result. After all, it was a gap of 1 level. If it could be easily crossed, the final 8 would not be just these few people now. Name, Charizard attributes, Fire plus Dragon qualification, Epic level, Diamond level 50, 37% features. Fire blessing effect. In an environment where fire element gather, amplify attacks and absorb the opponent's fire attacks. Ability, talented skills, Dragon Dance. Dance the mysterious dance that the Dragon Clan does not pass on. Increase your attack and speed. Already enabled. Explosive Flame Flash. Wrap the whole body with flames and attack the opponent, and you will also suffer considerable damage. There is a chance to burn the opponent. Already enabled. Flame Dragon Rush. Gather the power of the whole body and attack the opponent continuously and violently. Already enabled. Dragon God Dive. Release terrifying Murderous Aura and hit the opponent at the same time. Sometimes it will make the opponent timid. Already enabled. Learning skills. Flame Dragon Breaking Sky Slash plus Destruction Death Light plus Jet Flame plus Fire Purgatory plus Planet Throwing. To deal with Flame Chicken, you naturally have to use Fire Spirits. Although this is a very unwise move in the eyes of others. But for Liu, Charizard is his belief. What else can compare to the joy of defeating a fire-type Pokémon with the Pokémon you believe in the most? Roar. It has been a long time since I fought with Liu. As soon as Charizard appeared, he excitedly roared to the sky and turned to grin at Liu. However, his ferocious head suddenly showed a strange smile, which was really scary in the eyes of everyone. Charizard. Fire Dragon Rush. Liu was also very excited. As his belief when playing games, he was passionate every time he saw Charizard. At least every time he played Pokémon games and chose the initial Pokémon, Liu must choose Charizard. No, it should be Charmander. And every time he played the game, the first Pokémon to reach level 100 must be Charizard. In order to get the highest attribute of Charizard, he even downloaded a lot of cheats from the internet. Over and over again, he brushed the effort value for Charizard, hoping that the gold attribute of Charizard could increase a little bit. Roar. The figure circled in the sky, and Charizard aimed directly at Flame Chicken. And around its body, flames instantly covered its entire body, forming a handsome flame armor. Flame Chicken. Divine Bird special attack. But facing the opponent's fierce momentum, Zioang did not dare to neglect it. Because he could feel the power of a strong man like Flame Chicken from Charizard. Boom boom boom. With the blessing of Divine Bird special attack, Flame Chicken briefly possessed the ability to glide, and it felt like a turkey turning into a phoenix. The attacks of both sides collided with each other, but Charizard was obviously in an advantageous position. The attack moves that fell from the sky can greatly increase the attack power with the help of inertia. Such combat skills are also used by many flying elves. There is nothing special about it just depends on the individual's proficiency. Kai kai kai. Under the stalemate between the two sides, Flame Chicken first exhausted its body and retreated to the back. But under the strong pressure of Charizard, its legs sank deeply into the ground. As it kept moving backward, the legs of the flame chicken rubbed against the ground and actually created 2 deep grooves more than 10 meters long. Roar. Flame dragon breaking the sky slash. If he didn't pursue the victory when he had the upper hand, it would be too stupid. The wings of the Charizard were instantly covered with energy and turned into a sharp blade. Swish, swish, swish. The Charizard's attack was extremely powerful, leaving no chance for the opponent to take advantage of it. Kai kai kai. And the flame chicken seemed to have no room for counterattack and could only passively defend and resist the strong attack of the Charizard. Hey ha. Skyfist. Finally, the flame chicken could no longer bear it, and the temper was a bit irritable, so naturally he couldn't stand the passive defense state all the time. Even a Clayman has some temper. What's more, as a Pokémon of the fire and fighting types, taking advantage of the moment when Charizard's attack was stagnant, Flame Chicken shouted loudly and swung out his fist as big as a sandbag, hitting Charizard's jaw directly. Bang bang. It was indeed worthy of being called the Heavenly Fist. Although it was just an ordinary punch, Charizard was directly thrown to the ground. Good job. Flame Chicken, keep attacking. There was no need for Zhao to command. Flame Chicken, who was already very unhappy and angry, directly rushed forward. Hey ha. Flying Knee Strike. Flame Fist. Flame Attack. Flame Chicken, who was bullying forward, directly ignored any moves and threw out a set of random punches, but the momentum was very fierce. Bang bang bang. It was really a turn of events. Charizard, who was in an advantageous position just now, was suppressed in the blink of an eye. Fortunately, Charizard was relatively thick-skinned and had good defense, so the damage of Flame Chicken's attack was still within the acceptable range. Roar. Throw on the planet. I finally understood and felt Blaziken's previous feelings, but Charizard didn't want to face this. After being punched several times, Charizard didn't care and rushed forward to tie up Blaziken tightly. Hoo-ah-ha-ha. Spreading its wings, Charizard brought the bound Blaziken and instantly came to the sky. Shoo-ah-ha-ha. With a 360-degree turn, Charizard turned upside down. With the help of the inertia of the flip, Blaziken, who was struggling constantly, was thrown out directly. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Falling at high speed, Blaziken felt the air blowing on his body. The originally gentle air was like a sharp blade at this moment, piercing his whole body with great pain. Chapter 394, 4-2. Congratulations to Liu for winning the last spot to advance to the semi-finals. Here, we also start the last task of today, which is to match the battle list for the final battle. The battle between Liu and Zhao finally ended, and the final result was naturally that Charizard easily defeated his opponent with 1-3. As the elf that Liu cultivated most attentively, his strength is definitely not to be underestimated. It can be said that among all the elves of Liu, except for the strongest elf Longli, Charizard is definitely the big brother. The battle is over, and there is nothing to say, because the next game will be more exciting, more eye-catching and more anticipated. As the game is about to end, it also means that the final champion is about to be released. In this way, the audience is also more expectant, all holding their breath, for fear of affecting the operation of the matching machine. Although these games have nothing to do with the audience, at this moment, they seem to regard themselves as players, and what will be decided next will be their future destiny. Sure. The remaining 4 player cards turned over and kept spinning. Although there were only the last 4 cards left, the trajectory of the movement was still unclear. Sure. Finally, after spinning for a full half minute, the 4 cards slowly stopped, and finally fixed there. Silence. Deathly silence. All the spectators, including the players, at least stopped breathing at this moment, holding their breath, and waiting for the final result to appear. Buzz buzz. The cards slowly turned over, and the park results of the last 2 games were finally clear. It's him. At this moment, almost all. No. There were only 4 people in total, and the 4 looked at their opponents at the same time. He. Looking at the smile on the corner of his opponent's mouth, it seemed very polite and kind, but only Liu knew that Zumu was definitely not a polite guy. That's right, although he had long expected to fight with Zumu, Liu didn't expect that this day would come so soon, and he was a little absent-minded for a while. Stinky boy, it's you. Humph, it would be fun to torture you like a dead dog, right? The fact is, just as Liu imagined. When he saw that his opponent was Liu, Zhu was really thinking about how to do bad things. Fortunately, this is the Kanto competition, and there are official personnel and Shura God King present. Otherwise Zhu might have killed Liu directly. Liu's opponent is Zhu, and the two sides of the other game are naturally Yulong Mochin and Xiaomu Takashi. To be honest, Liu's more desired opponent is Yulong Mochin. As for the reason, there is no need to say more here. But he can't control the progress of the game, and the reality can't be changed. He can only choose to accept it silently. The competition to advance to the finals will be held in the morning and afternoon tomorrow. Finally, let us use warm applause to wish them a more exciting performance. Today's competition finally came to an end. With the crowded flow of people, Liu and Shilin feasted side by side, thinking about the exit gate in the distance and walked slowly. Charizard, Rhyhorn, and everyone, how do you feel about today's battle? Are you confident about tomorrow's battle? In the system world, Liu and a group of elves sat face to face and discussed today's game. Raw. Very strong. Rhyhorn's answer was very simple, only 2 words. Although he did not play in today's game, he still watched the entire game through the recorder. Raw. Although it is very strong, it is not that strong. It is not unbeatable. Although that flame chicken is very strong, it still lost to me in the end. Charizard is very confident. No matter how strong the opponent is, he has only one answer. That is to fight. He is never afraid of those powerful opponents. This has long been shown when he was training in the system world. In order to get better training results, and even to break through to the diamond level, Charizard suffered a lot in the previous training. He constantly challenges Rhyhorn every day, and whether he can beat the opponent is not within his consideration. And Long Yi was naturally not polite. Since you took the initiative to come to me and ask for abuse, how could I not satisfy you with this request? Every time he was beaten all over, but after drinking the potion specially exchanged by Liu, Charizard quickly recovered from his injuries and then rushed up to challenge the opponent again. In this way, Charizard was able to stand out among the elves and was the first to reach the diamond level of 50. What kind of achievements can be made often depends on his efforts behind the scenes. This kind of poisonous chicken soup may not be accepted by many people. Most people think it is just empty talk and paper talk, but in reality, this is indeed the truth. If you don't work hard, how can you talk about success? Although many people will reject this is a reality. Well, you don't have to worry so much about Rhyhorn's strength. I believe in your strength. Charizard is also very powerful and can handle the next game. But Gyarados, Metagross, Glaive, and Alakazam are a little behind. You were at the same level at the beginning, but now Charizard has surpassed you. Looking at the remaining 4 Pokémon, although their strength has improved very rapidly, they are still far behind Charizard. Woo woo. The 4 Pokémon were a little embarrassed to be criticized by Liu. After all, everyone was the same at the beginning, but now they are no match for Charizard. It's not that they didn't work hard, but the gap in strength is very obvious. With Charizard's current strength, it is very easy to beat them. Okay. I don't mean to blame you, but compared to Charizard, your efforts are still a little insufficient. But this is also a comparison between us and ourselves. Compared with other people's Pokémon, you are completely upgrading at a rocket speed. It can't hit their confidence, and Liu is very satisfied with them, and has no intention of blaming them. But in order to prepare for tomorrow's game, especially since his opponent is this guy, Zhu, Liu is indeed a little anxious. Chapter 395, The Game Changes. Under Liu's plan, the elves began to prepare for the last and most important game. However, this preparation is not to strengthen training, but to adjust their own state and keep at the peak at any time. At this time, training is useless. Excessive training will only affect their state, thus affecting tomorrow's battle performance. Instead of this, it is better to adjust the state well and ensure that they can perfectly exert their strength tomorrow, so that they are more likely to defeat Oak. And because Oak seems to have some unknown tasks, there is no need to guess that he is going to do something destructive. So he must be more cautious, just in case he becomes the target of the opponent. Li Yu is not confident that he can escape from the opponent with his own strength. Fortunately, the amulets that Wu and I had asked him to refine before are still a little bit unused, like Void Shield, Void Blade, and so on. Presumably, under the protection of these amulets, the temporary self-protection ability is still okay. Li Yu doesn't believe that, even if Oak is so powerful, it is impossible to kill him directly, right? Welcome to our competition venue again. Today we will have the preliminary round before the final. Today's 2 games will also determine who will get the chance to compete for the final championship. The success or failure of this battle will determine their future and glory. Under the rendering of the 2 beautiful hosts, the atmosphere on the field continued to heat up and finally became loud and loud with firecrackers. What a lively scene. Let us now invite the 2 players of the first game, Mingemo and Li Yu. This time Li Yu's luck was not so good. There were only 2 games in total, and he was the first one. Come out, Charizard. To be on the safe side, Li Yu did not use the 49 level ones, but released the Charizard as soon as he appeared. In order to avoid unnecessary accidents, Li Yu finally decided to fight quickly, and the opponent would never think of using a 50 level Charizard at the beginning. Come out, Bangla. At the same time, Oak also released his own elf. And just as Li Yu expected, the elf used by Oak in the first game was indeed only a level 49 Bangera. Elf, Bangera attributes, Rock plus Dark qualification, Epic level, Gold level 49 features, Quicksand in the palm effect. During the battle, each time you use a skill, there is a chance to trigger the Quicksand state, causing the opponent to fall into it. Ability, Talented skills, Iron Tail plus Jet Flame plus Dragon Claw plus 100,000 volts learning skills, Sandstorm plus Rampage plus Earthquake plus Evil Wave plus Destruction Death Ray. Although Bangera is also very powerful, with a terrifying defense, a huge body that makes people afraid, and a ferocious figure that makes people even more frightened. But all this in the eyes of Charizard, he feels only full of excitement. The more this kind of elf is like Bangera, the more Charizard feels when fighting. Because in his eyes, these meat shield elves are like moving live targets, and they are the kind that can't be broken, no matter how you hit them. Charizard, Flame Dragon breaking the sky. In order to grasp his own battle rhythm and occupy an advantageous position, Li Yu did not hesitate at all, and directly ordered Charizard to launch an attack. As for chatting with the opponent before the official game, and dealing with him politely, as before, this kind of thing is impossible for Oak. When he knew that the identity of the opponent was Oak, Li Yu wanted to eat him alive. When Li Yu just started his adventure, he was almost killed by Oak. If he hadn't been lucky enough to go to the new island, and was rescued by Mutwo, he might have died heroically. In fact, he had no hatred with the Hades Palace, but for Oak, he wanted to kill him immediately, and even after torturing him. Roar. With an excited roar, Charizard jumped directly into the air, and his huge wings spread out violently, rushing towards the opponent with an overwhelming momentum. HMPH. Brats. Wait. You will die soon. Thinking of how lucky he was yesterday, and how he got the target without using any weapons, Zumu felt very happy. Although he felt it was a little unbelievable, Zumu thought about it, and thought that it should be a gift from our king. It was to heaven defying. Now, seeing these so-called geniuses in front of him, especially Li Yu, who inherited the so-called position of the Beast Master, Zumu sneered in his heart. He had planned it long ago. If there was a chance, he must kill them all. In this way, the old guys in the Alliance must feel bad when so many family geniuses died at one time. Then, when the magical continent is in chaos, disputes and entanglements will arise. In this case, the Alliance will certainly be exhausted and unable to spare the energy to deal with the Pluto Palace. In this way, they can do whatever they want, develop their power unscrupulously, and even complete the tasks assigned by our king. The spiritual power detected in the space ring, the reward that my king gave me, which was comparable to a divine object, made ZHU sneer in his heart. But since you want to play, then I will play with you. And I have been hiding for so long, it is time to show my true strength. During the 10 days of hiding his strength, ZHU felt really depressed. Not only did he have to learn to pretend to be Mingemo and his usual living habits, for fear of being discovered. Moreover, his powerful strength could not be brought into play, and he had to continue to pretend to be a weak chicken and have a fair competition with a group of so-called geniuses. Boom boom boom. Suddenly, a pure black energy wave appeared on Bangula's body, and his eyes turned blood red. Bangula, who transformed into a dark state, instantly increased his strength countless times, and was even comparable to the diamond level Charizard. Without using any skills, relying only on the strong physical defense, Bangula collided with Charizard forcefully. What? It's the dark evolution of Pluto's palace? How is it possible? How did someone from Pluto's palace sneak into a place like Sky City? All of the people of status and position on the entire battlefield instantly noticed the changes in Bangura. But then, they were shocked beyond words. Because Sky City is a place with strict guards, no one expected that someone from Pluto's palace could sneak in. What? Liu was even more shocked, because he really didn't expect that Oak would reveal his identity at this time. Chapter 396 The Black Crystal Ball reappears. Among the nearly 10 million spectators present, all of them were extremely shocked to see that Bangula was a dark evolved person. They were all shocked as to why someone from the Pluto Palace could sneak in a place like Sky City, which is heavily guarded, especially with the Azura God King in person. But in this case, someone from the Pluto Palace could sneak in, and those spectators who were watching the excitement didn't know what was going on the field. They just looked curiously at the sudden changes on the battlefield. Ashura, long time no see. Didn't expect it? We will meet again in a place like this? I will accept your thing with pleasure. Restoring his original appearance, Oak once again turned into the abominable look in a black dress with a sinister face. And thinking of his heroic feat yesterday, Oak sneered in his heart, but on the surface he put on a disgusting mask that said, "I'm so embarrassed. Haha, the people from the Pluto Palace are really a group of sneaky rats. Do you really think that no one knows about your actions last night?" The expression on his face did not change at all, and a cold voice came out of his mouth. It was as if the sudden appearance of Oak had no effect on her, and everything was as he expected. HMPH. Stop pretending. Even if our Pluto Palace is bad, it is still much better than you Alliance dogs. If those people knew that the so-called Elf Alliance was just a group of corrupt guys, just a group of scheming guys, what do you think they would think? He didn't believe the other party's words at all, because Oak was very confident in the divine object given by the king, and he firmly believed that no one could see through his disguise. The reason why the other party said that was just to provoke him. With the nature of those guys in the alliance, Oak was 100% sure that they would do this. Haha, whether what I said is true or not, you can find out if you take that thing out and take a good look at it. I guess you must have carefully observed it many times last night, right? How come you didn't find anything abnormal with your eyesight? Well, there's nothing you can do, mice are mice. No matter how active they are just a group of short-sighted guys living in the sewers. I didn't expect that the majestic and serious Shura God King would have such a dark side. His words were so heartbreaking, like a sharp blade cutting into the heart of Oak. Impossible. You must be lying to me. I won't be fooled. Oak couldn't accept this reality. He thought he had won, but now he was slapped in the face by the other party. Oak felt as sick as if he had eaten a ton of shit. Oak roared with a ferocious face, and at this moment he was like a crazy wild dog, biting whoever he saw, without the calmness and rationality before. Looking at the crazy Oak with a sneer, the corners of Shura God King's mouth slightly raised, as if he was watching a good show. Impossible, this must be fake. Although he didn't want to accept the reality, he subconsciously took the item out of the space ring. However, after he carefully checked it again, the truth he got made him collapse a little, which was really hard to accept. It's you, right? It must be you who is making trouble? Sure, and you damn guys. Since the mission can't be completed, we can only settle for the next best thing. You don't know, right? In fact, I have been ready to kill you all, but I didn't expect it to be in this situation. I think if you are all here, your family, and the group of dogs in the alliance, will definitely go crazy, right? His face was ferocious and his eyes were red. At this moment, Oak was like a demon from hell, and the words that came out of his mouth made everyone present a little scared. ZHU Mew, I hope you will take care of yourself. Don't do anything out of line, otherwise I don't mind taking action myself and completely destroying your Hades Palace. When he heard the other party's crazy words, Shura God King was also a little surprised for a moment. But thinking of the group of lunatics in Hades Palace, he knew that they would definitely be able to do such a thing. Hahaha, out of line. Haven't you done enough out of line in these years? If it weren't for the group of guys in your alliance, how could so many people join our Hades Palace? Laughing wildly, ZHU Mew was completely careless at this moment. As for the so-called consequences, they were no longer within his consideration. ZHU Mew, you go to hell. Shura God King knew clearly what they looked like when they went crazy. So he didn't dare to gamble, and didn't dare to gamble the lives of tens of millions of people present on that little bit of luck. Shura God King, who was still standing in the same place, suddenly burst out with terrifying power. The figure disappeared from the original place in an instant, and the devastating attack fell directly on the top of ZHU Mew's head. HMPH. You are so conceited. Do you think I have never been on guard against you? However, how could the cunning Oak be without any defense? With a sneer, his figure disappeared from the spot, perfectly avoiding the opponent's sneak attack. Since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish today. Think about it, you will all die here. It is really a perfect plan. Ha ha ha. Laughing wildly, Oak took out a black crystal ball from the space ring, and then poured all the energy in his body into it. What? When they saw the black crystal ball appear, Liu and Shura God King were shocked, and their pupils shrank at the same time, obviously knowing the power of this item very well. This black crystal ball is exactly the same as the one that destroyed the Tower of the Strong. And compared to the previous one, this black crystal ball obviously has a more powerful power. Oak. Damn it. Cursing in his heart, Shura God King did not dare to hesitate at all, and all his strength burst out directly, and the boundless attack directly enveloped Oak Mew's body. Help. I don't want to die. What on earth is going on? Nearly 10 million spectators at the scene finally reacted at this moment. Coupled with the scene of seeing thousands of people being affected by the attack and directly killed, they were immediately in chaos. At this time, they didn't care about anything else. Those who were capable directly released the flying device. At this time, they didn't care about anything at all. Saving their own lives was the most important thing. And those who were incapable were like frightened birds. The crowded fleeing crowd immediately trampled on each other. It was unknown how many people died as a result. Chapter 397 Liyu's death. When Liyu saw the black crystal ball, the first thought that came to his mind was to run away. Because the scene of the broken space in the Tower of the Strong is still fresh in his memory. The Tower of the Strong, which has been passed down for thousands of years, has cultivated generations of powerful trainers, and even many God King level masters have trained there when they were young. But just a fist-sized black crystal ball, the towering Tower of the Strong disappeared without leaving any traces, and was directly swallowed by the boundless void. But thinking of his friends Tom Ayui and Shilin Fei who were still in the restroom, Liu did not dare to hesitate and ran there quickly. You guys, all of you, go to hell. Looking at the Azura God King rushing towards him quickly, Oak laughed ferociously, and the huge and endless energy was directly infused into the black crystal ball. Stop. Feeling the power of the black crystal ball, it has reached a terrifying state. With his champion level strength, he actually felt a trembling feeling. If the opponent successfully activated it, Shura God King knew clearly that no one present would survive, and even he himself would be in danger of falling. Buzz buzz buzz. But his speed was still a step slower. Just when his attack hit Oak, the energy on the black crystal ball seemed to have reached a critical point, and it immediately burst into a dazzling black light like the sun. Under this light, all the people, including those who were running away, those who were panicking, even Liu, and even Shura God King, were pierced and couldn't open their eyes. Crack. Crack. There was no shocking change, only a sound like glass breaking, and then countless people felt a pulling force, and then there was no feeling anymore. Oak. You deserve to die. You deserve to die. Looking at those ordinary audiences who were powerless, even some powerful trainers were all pulled into the broken space and torn into pieces. The black crystal ball exploded into pieces, and an invisible wave instantly spread to the surrounding area of 100 miles, and even continued to radiate to further distances. The space was instantly torn into a crack of nearly 1,000 meters. Through the space crack, you seemed to be able to see the raging space storms in the endless void. Under the pull of this space crack, those ordinary spectators were directly pulled into it like puppets with broken strings, and died without leaving any residue. Damn it. Cursing secretly, Liu hurriedly used a void shield amulet to stabilize his torn body. Buzz buzz buzz. Puff. However, it didn't last for 3 seconds. The amulet was like a piece of white paper and was directly torn into pieces by the invisible force. Not good. Liu cried out inwardly that it was bad. He knew that he might die this time. But thinking that Shilin Fei might have fallen into a desperate situation, or perhaps waiting for him to rescue her, Liu's heart was filled with endless unwillingness. Ah! With a loud shout, Liu used another void shield amulet and then quickly rushed towards the restroom. Although he felt that hope was slim, he chose to ignore this possibility at this moment, or it was difficult to accept this possibility. Buzz buzz puff. However, the level of the amulet was only the Emperor level after all, which was much worse than the black crystal ball. It couldn't even resist for 3 seconds, and the shield broke again. No. Feeling the invisible force tearing his body, as if his body would break at any time, Liu's heart was filled with a strong sense of unwillingness. Shishi. The right arm was forcibly pulled off from the body, and the piercing pain made Liu almost faint. Hu 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 hu. Breathing deeply to keep himself awake, Liu kept reminding himself in his heart that he must not sleep, otherwise he would die. Shishi. But the reality was extremely cruel. His left leg was pulled away from his body again. Endless pain rushed into his mind again. The feeling was like a tearing feeling from the soul. Am I going to die? So this is what death feels like. Haha, am I not the one who deserves to die? If it weren't for the system, I would have died once before, right? But, Fifi, I'm sorry. I can't save you. Because I really can't do anything. I'm not willing to accept it. Am I going to die like this? His consciousness became increasingly dim. At this moment, countless thoughts surged in his mind. There was reluctance to death, longing for his relatives, and guilt for Shilin Fei. But in the end, his consciousness eventually lost the ability to think, and he could no longer feel the changes in the outside world. There was only endless darkness in front of him, as if he was on the passage to hell. Buzz buzz buzz. Just when Liu was extremely desperate and didn't want to struggle anymore, a ray of light suddenly flashed in the endless darkness. What is that? Why do I feel so familiar? So warm, so comfortable. Looking at the light in the distance, it was only vague at first, until it finally appeared clearly in front of him. When the light approached, he could clearly see that it was a 7-colored bead. And from this bead, Liu seemed to be able to feel a familiar breath. Just like returning to the mother body and returning to nature, Liu only felt that the endless pain in his soul disappeared instantly and even had a kind of intimacy. Sure. The 7-colored bead was spinning, and then the colorful energy in the sky surged out and then directly enveloped Liu. At this moment, he finally lost consciousness completely and could not feel any changes at all. And on the battlefield of the Sky City, a 7-colored bead suddenly appeared there, and then it also emitted endless colorful light. Boom boom boom. And when those colorful lights touched the cracks in the void, shocking things happened. Just like encountering a natural enemy, the void crack was constantly compressed, and finally became a point, and finally disappeared. The terrifying champion level powerhouse was helpless, and even the hope of escape was gone. At this moment, it was like a mouse meeting a cat, and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Buzz buzz buzz. However, after the 7-colored beads offset the tens of millions of meters long void crack, the dazzling light also became a little dim. What is going on here? Suddenly, a familiar voice resounded in the space, and Muto's figure appeared. What is that? However, before he could see the surrounding situation clearly, he saw a 7-colored bead rushing towards him, and then his eyes blurred, and he lost consciousness. Chapter 398 Shilin Fei's Crisis. The place where the Sky City was originally located was now reduced to ruins. Various buildings collapsed one after another, and there was no breath of life in the ruins. But suddenly, in the middle of a collapsed house, ice blue light suddenly appeared, and an extremely cold breath gradually spread to the surroundings. Crash! An ice blue ball of light suddenly appeared in the ruins, and the ball of light slowly flew into the sky. After spinning a few times, it slowly fell to the ground. But the ball of light slowly dimmed, and a figure gradually appeared. Looking closely, the person turned out to be Shilinfei. Woo woo. I don't know how long it took, but Shilinfei, who was originally unconscious, suddenly moved, her fingers trembled slightly, and after a while, she finally slowly opened her eyes. Touching her head painfully, supporting the ground with one hand, Shilinfei slowly stood up from the ground. Here. Why has it become like this? Liu. Where is Liu? Looking at the broken walls and ruins around her, and remembering the doomsday scene before, Shilinfei suddenly seemed to think of something, and her eyes kept searching around. Liu. But no matter how she looked, there was no trace of life around except for the broken tiles and debris. Heartbroken Shilinfei, her clothes soaked with tears, sat down dejectedly on the ground, and suddenly she didn't know what to do. There are still people alive. No, this is the breath of the ice god. Suddenly, a surprised voice resounded in the silent space. However, judging from the meaning of his words, it was obviously a bit greedy. Who are you? Suddenly, a middle-aged man appeared in front of her, and from the other's eyes, Shilinfei also saw an emotion called desire. The sad expression instantly converged, and turned into an extremely cold and indifferent expression. Looking at the other party vigilantly, Shilinfei felt nervous and a little desperate. Because from the fact that the other party suddenly appeared, but she didn't feel anything at all. The strength of the person who came must be very strong. In addition, the heat in the other party's eyes clearly showed that he was not a good person. With her strength of only the heavenly rank, Shilinfei was very worried that something unexpected would happen. Hello, little girl. I'm Aurea from the Aodu family. This Sky City has become a ruin. Why are you still here? And didn't the rescue team come? Why didn't you leave with them? Seeing Shilinfei's vigilance, Aurea immediately put on a smiling face, as if I was very friendly and amiable. However, his wrinkled face, but he made a seemingly kind look, which looked vulgar and ugly, no matter how you looked at it. HMPH. You don't have to worry about my affairs. If there is nothing, please leave. I want to stay here alone, and don't want to be disturbed by strangers. Directly rejecting the other party's kindness, Shilinfei felt a deep malice from Aurea, and it was obvious that the other party had bad intentions. Don't be so unkind. I'm doing this for your own good. Don't be ignorant. You probably don't know yet. The rescuers sent by the Alliance had all left a day ago. The ladder to leave Sky City has collapsed. I think the reason you didn't leave is that you don't have a flying device, right? If no one comes to rescue you, you will definitely not be able to survive in Sky City, so I'm here to help you. Aurea's words were very scheming. First, he talked about the current severe situation, to increase the pressure on Shilinfei's heart, and then he told her his purpose. Under normal circumstances, those who are desperate will definitely pay any price to grab this life-saving straw when they see hope. No need. I can leave Sky City by myself, and I have my own things to do, so I don't need to bother you. But Shilinfei was not moved at all, and still refused coldly. And after saying the last sentence, she wanted to turn around and leave. HMPH. You are shameless. If that's the case, don't blame me for taking action. Unable to maintain his hypocritical expression any longer, Aurea immediately regained his ferocious face, and his purpose was directly exposed. Sure. The figure disappeared directly from the spot, and Aurea appeared directly beside Shilinfei, clenching his hands into claws, and grabbing towards her, obviously preparing to use tough measures directly. But what Aurea didn't expect was that his attack was directly in vain. Shilinfei didn't know what method she used, but she actually escaped from his hands. HMPH. Let's see how many times you can use it. He had long seen that Shilinfei's strength was just a small gym level trainer. The reason why the other party was able to escape from his hands must be because he used some special means, but this method would definitely not last long. Therefore, Aurea, who was at the peak of the king level, was very confident in his own strength. He believed that he could definitely control this future ice god in his hands. HMPH. Although Shilinfui still had that indifferent expression, there was a hint of panic in the depths of her eyes. Facing the peak of the heavenly king level Aurea, she was really helpless and had no confidence to escape from him successfully. And just as the other party expected, the teleportation method she used just now was just a trick of ice escape from the ice god envoy's inheritance. With his current strength, he could only use it 3 or 5 times at most. Sure. After dodging the opponent's 3 consecutive attacks again, Shilinfui gradually became desperate as she saw that the energy in her body was running out. I'm sorry Liu. I don't know how you will be first, but I may have to leave first. If you are still alive, I hope you can live well. At this moment, she thought of death. Perhaps only death can avoid suffering from what she doesn't want to face. But at the same time, she had endless regrets and remorse in her heart. She regretted that she didn't marry Liu and didn't experience the beautiful moment of becoming a bride. And she regretted that she couldn't return to Earth to take care of her mother. But thinking of the existence of the clone, she felt a little comforted. I'm sorry, I'm leaving first. Slowly closing her eyes and muttering the last words, the energy in Shilinfui's body became chaotic at this moment. The ice god ring in her hand also emitted a dazzling blue light, and an even greater amount of energy surged out. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 399 Linlissi arrives. For thousands of years, when leaving their inheritance, generation after generation of ice god envoys would inject all their power into the ice god ring. After dozens of times, the energy contained in the ice god ring is absolutely terrifying. At this moment, Shilinfui actually wanted to completely detonate the energy in the ice god ring, obviously wanting to die with Aurea. What? You actually want to detonate the ice god ring? No, I can't let her succeed. If the ice god ring is completely self-destructed, even with his peak heavenly king level strength, there is no hope of escape. Thinking of the horror of the ice god ring, Aurea's face suddenly showed a look of shock, and at that moment he even thought of turning around and running away. But he gave up this idea in an instant, because he knew that he couldn't run away at all. With the power of the ice god ring, he would definitely not escape the range covered by the explosion. In that case, then kill you first. Since the other party wanted to fight to the death, there was no mercy for him. Originally, he just wanted to control the future ice god envoy in his hands, so as to increase the strength of his family, and even to compete for the position of the family for himself. Coupled with Shilinfui's unique temperament, Aurea inevitably had a desire in his heart, a greedy desire to possess the other party. But now it is obviously impossible to do it, so there is nothing to worry about. At the critical moment of life and death, no matter how great the benefits are, it is useless. Saving your own life is the kingly way. As for the so-called inheritance of the other party's ice god, no matter how talented the genius is, it is useless before it grows up. Boom boom boom. The energy of the whole body gushed out, and the violent and turbulent attack directly enveloped the ice blue energy ball around Shilinfui. Puff puff puff. Shilinfui's strength is still too weak after all, so even if she wants to activate the energy in the ice god ring to achieve the purpose of self-destruction, it will take a long time. But Aurea obviously won't give her time. The peak attack of the King of Heaven level burst out instantly, directly breaking the energy with 1 point as the center, and the attack is about to hit Shilinfui. Stop. A sad smile appeared on his face. Just when Shilinfui was about to face death, a majestic female voice suddenly resounded in the sky. Then Shilinfui saw that the space in front of her was suddenly torn open, and then a domineering elf wearing silver white hideous armor appeared in front of her. Puff puff puff. At the moment when the elf appeared, the attack that was about to hit her was directly swallowed by a sudden space crack. Then, a woman with a dignified face suddenly appeared in front of her. The woman smiled at Shilinfui, and then turned to face Aurea. Looking at the woman's face, Shi Linfei felt a familiar feeling in her heart. However, she was determined to die at this moment, and she had no intention of wanting to know the other party's identity. You. Damn it. The woman spit out 3 words coldly, and she did not make any movements, but a space crack suddenly appeared next to Aurea. Without making any sound or struggling, he was directly swallowed by the space crack. In a blink of an eye, the extremely powerful Aurea was instantly killed at this moment. Looking at everything in front of her in shock, Shi Linfei actually felt as if she was in another world. The twists and turns of the experience made her mood fluctuate. She was confused and helpless when she just woke up, and she was in pain and despair when Aurea suddenly appeared. She was sad when she was about to die, but she was suddenly rescued, but she was still as depressed as a dead man. Because her act of wanting to self-destruct was interrupted by the elf that suddenly appeared. Shi Linfei, who was determined to die, sat on the ground again. Her eyes were dull and her face was dull. Li Yu is not dead yet. Shi Linfei, who was distracted, suddenly heard such a sentence, and a glimmer of light suddenly appeared in her eyes. What? Are you telling the truth? Then do you know where he is now? Please tell me. Please. Although Shi Linfei felt that Li Yu was likely dead, after all, the other party would never abandon him like this. But now someone suddenly said that he was still alive. Shi Linfei would rather be deceived. That's right. Li Yu is indeed still alive. But you may not see him now, because we don't know where he went. The woman walked up to Shi Linfei and helped her up, but the words she said next revealed a helpless emotion. Haha, I knew it. With a sad smile, Shi Linfei suddenly felt that she was too naive and shouldn't have had such an expectation. I really didn't lie to you. We met before, didn't you forget? I'm Lin Lisi. We met before in the Damu family, and it was me who passed the position of the Beast Master to Li Yu. Seeing that Shi Linfei didn't seem to recognize her, and in order to increase her credibility, she had to get closer to both parties first. It's you. Haha, so what? No matter how powerful a person is, he will die in the end. After being reminded, although Shi Linfei remembered the other party's identity, she still couldn't change her determination to die. Hey. Why don't you believe me? I really didn't lie to you. Li Yu is really not dead. It's just that for a while, we can't contact him. Because he inherited the position of the Divine Beast Master and signed a contract with Celebi. So through this Divine Beast bracelet, or through Celebi's induction, you can feel Li Yu's existence. Slowly explaining the special features of the Divine Beast Master, Lin Lisi was very helpless about the fact that Li Yu was obviously alive, but she couldn't sense the other party's position. It stands to reason that through the Divine Beast bracelet, or through Celebi's contract induction, as long as Li Yu is still alive in the magical continent, he can definitely find his location. But after a full day of searching, even with the help of the Divine Beast Celebi, he didn't find any trace of him. Really? If it's really like you said, do you know where he is now? A glimmer of hope suddenly ignited in her heart, but she didn't dare to show it, because Shi Linfei was very afraid that this last hope would soon be shattered. We can't do anything about this. Look at this Divine Beast bracelet. This dot represents Li Yu, but his position is illusory and constantly changing. It's like, well, how should I put it? To be precise, it's as if he is not in this world, right? That's the feeling. Suddenly, Lin Lisi had a flash of inspiration and suddenly thought of a possibility, but she soon couldn't believe it herself, because this guess was really unbelievable. Chapter 400, Traveling Through Time and Space. After Lin Lisi's repeated explanations, Shi Linfei finally regained some spirit. However, because there was no news from Li Yu, she still looked very lonely and helpless. Fei, you don't have to worry too much. Since Li Yu is still alive, he will come back eventually. But maybe he is in a certain, state that may be difficult to get out of, so it is not certain that he will not be able to come back in a short time. Thinking of the instructions of the ancestors, Lin Lisi knew that she must not let Shi Linfei get into trouble. Otherwise, when Li Yu comes back, how can she explain to him? Aunt Lin Lisi. For Shi Linfei, it was just a blink of an eye, but the whole world seemed to have changed, like the world turned upside down. Li Yu disappeared. She herself almost died. If Lin Lisi hadn't arrived in time, she and Li Yu would have been separated. Ah, poor child. With a sigh, Linlissy reached out and held Shilin-Fui in her arms, gently patting her back. Linlissy actually felt the same way about Shilin-Fui's experience. Because when she was young, she had the same experience. Rabbi. At this moment, Salibi's figure suddenly appeared in front of the two. Salibi, how is it? Have you found Li Yu's location? Looking at the expression on Salibi's face, Linlissy actually had a guess in her heart, but she didn't want to accept this reality. Rabbi, I found it, but it's no different from not finding it. Salibi's face was full of helplessness because he was too annoyed with his ability. As the controller of time, he was able to travel through time and space at will. But even though he knew the other party's location, he couldn't reach that place at all. Really? Salibi, do you know where Li Yu is now? Please tell me. Okay. Suddenly hearing the news about Li Yu, Shilin-Fui jumped out of Linlissy's arms and asked Salibi nervously and expectantly. Rabbi, I can sense that Li Yu is in a certain time and space in the past. However, due to the complexity and overlap of the timeline, I really can't find out exactly when he is in a short time. And even if I find his time point, I don't have the confidence to really find him and successfully bring him back. He slowly told his discovery, and at the end, Salibi blushed for himself, ashamed of his own helplessness. What? Linlissy and Shilin-Fui were shocked, because neither of them expected that Li Yu would actually travel to the past. But then they all became silent. Even Salibi, the guardian beast, was powerless. What else could the two of them do? Fei, you must be strong. Since Li Yu can travel to the past, he must have a way to come back. If you fall down before he comes back, then when he comes back, how can you let him accept this fact? Seeing Shilin-Fui's eyes dimming again, Linlissy knew that she had to do something, otherwise she really couldn't explain to Li Yu. Thank you, Aunt Linlissy. I will definitely stay strong and wait until the day Li Yu comes back. Her eyes were filled with determination at this moment. Not only for Li Yu, but even for himself, in order to be able to return to Earth to see his mother. In order to be able to see her relatives again. In order to be able to see her lover, she must be strong to live on. Well, then let's leave here first. You can go to the Cheoke clan with me. Wherever you go, I can take good care of you, so as not to encounter the previous situation. In order to take better care of Shilin-Fui, so as to avoid the situation of Aurea happening again, Linlissy thought it would be better to take Shilin-Fui away. Well, in the magical continent, Shilin-Fui is a helpless person, and there is no place to go, except to follow Li Yu. Now only Linlissy is really good to herself. In order to better protect herself until the day Li Yu comes back, Shilin-Fui thinks that following Linlissy is also a choice. Porkia. Please. After saying this to Porkia, Linless gently supported the somewhat weak Shilin-Fui and slowly walked into the space crack opened by Porkia. Sure. In a blink of an eye, the space crack slowly gathered and finally disappeared, and the figures of Shilin-Fui, Linless, and the two beasts also disappeared. With the protection of the Cheoke clan, Shilin-Fui's safety will definitely not be threatened. Because on the entire continent, there are really not many people or families who dare to provoke the Cheoke clan. It is not an exaggeration to say that even the alliance does not dare to easily touch the Cheoke clan. Let's not talk about Shilin-Fui for now, and return our sight to Li Yu. Under the traction of the colorful beads, Li Yu's figure crossed many spaces and finally stopped at a certain node of the space-time channel. At this moment, Li Yu was in a colorful space, and the arm and leg that were lost before had completely grown back. However, judging from his slightly pale face, it was obvious that his condition was still a bit bad at the moment, and he had not completely recovered to normal. Woo woo. With his mouth slightly open, Li Yu subconsciously made a low sound from his mouth, and his fingers were also trembling slightly. Obviously he was about to wake up. Sure. At this moment, a colorful bead suddenly appeared, and after circling over Li Yu's body for a few circles, Li Yu's figure disappeared immediately. Next to a forest full of badsang and flowers, a small river was rushing by. On the grass beside the river, 4 trainers, 2 men and 2 women, were fighting 1v1. On the grass farther away, a young man with his eyes narrowed into a slit, was watching the 2 battles in front of him with high interest. Zhaozi, Zhaoksha, you must do your best. The man looked very funny because his eyes were almost narrowed into a slit, but he was very interested and cheered loudly for both sides of the game. From his words, we can know that among the 4 trainers in the battle, one is named Ash and the other is named Misty. Gone. Don't worry. We will definitely win. The young man who seemed to be named Ash, wearing a red and blue sportswear, waved his fists with high morale and said confidently, "Pika." In front of Ash, a Pikachu was also very excited, jumping high into the air, and also shouting confidently. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.